Now broadcasting from the Next Gen Conservative Studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report with Sam Whitfield.
Holy shit. What type of fucking timeline are we in, folks? What?
It's funny, at least.
I believe a quote from a recent film comes to mind. I believe it's "You get what you fucking deserve."
Or fuck around, find out for a more recent parlance of whatever the fuck it's called. This turn of phrase is. God damn it! What's up, guys?
Anyway, welcome to the Whitfield Report. Another. Usually we're the ones causing a train wreck, but this time we're analyzing a train wreck.
Don't count us out yet, Sammy. We are just getting started.
Well,
but yeah, you're right about that.
This show is on Odyssey exclusive too, because as Max and I were talking, we're going to be covering things. We're going to be covering all three things that YouTube doesn't like at all: Alex Jones, Kanye, and Jews.
Nice. Oh, I'm sitting here looking for your fucking stream on YouTube. Derp.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you fellas doing? How are you guys dealing in this? You know what? I saw somebody quote earlier saying, "Fuck those Berenstein cunts in their timeline. We've got the funny timeline." I mean, we all may have remembered the Berenstein Bears, some of us anyway, but fuck those guys. We're here now. Kanye's on Alex Jones talking about he loves Hitler and shit. I mean, wearing a full face mask.
I figured it out. Like, I have deduced what is going on here. I know the secret, and I'm going to let just the exclusive club who listens to this show in on what's going on here. It came to me as like a vision. Not in a dream. Well, I was taking a shit, but whatever. The best ideas come. Regardless, I know what's going on here, and it's not what you think, and it makes perfect sense. I promise.
Let's hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't bury the lead. So what he's doing is he's making himself into the monster that's so detestable that the toxicity of the politics between the left and the right ceases to matter anymore, as we all turn our attention to pointing and laughing at Kanye West. Kanye is bringing Americans together in a way that hasn't been done in 10 years at least.
So hold on. So it's almost like the Jesus archetype that he keeps proclamating ad nauseum, that he is like, he's Jesus, he's Jewish, he's, also Native American and all the other things. Maybe it's true.
And right now
maybe
he's up on a cross, and we're throwing rocks at him, right?
Yeah,
but we're throwing rocks together.
Look, did you guys see, Max? I don't know if you saw. I know Sam commented on it, but did you see Kanye's latest tweet? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's his latest tweet at this point. Oh yeah, you did, because you liked Sam's bruh, the Star of David with the twisted lines in the middle.
Right. See, like
incredible.
From the
incredible
outside,
stuff.
Everybody's like, "Oh, that's offensive. Why would you do that?" But like, even his art is now depicting this coming together of disparate forces and sides, and it's hashtag love speech at that.
Oh my God!
This is brilliant. He's taking it to the next level. He is
the great uniter
with love.
The great uniter is amongst us, guys. In 2022, I never thought it possible, with the ugliest shoes and shittiest music I've ever heard in my entire life, that this man, the first African American billionaire at that, to sacrifice it all.
I think Jay-Z was first, right?
Was he? Oh yeah, that's true. I would
Jay-Z
imagine.
kind of put him on. But regardless, here's the funny thing, right? Obviously, the guy's mentally ill, right? And we've known this for years. And that's not like me slandering him because this is stuff he's talked about. I don't want to get into like the specific conditions he's cited having, but these would be symptoms of those conditions. And instead of having a loving family around him, unfortunately for him, his wife cheated on him about a year ago ish with was it Pete Davidson, I think the guy's name was.
Fuck's sake.
So now this guy's going through a divorce. He's got a mental illness. He's not being treated. His support system was all built around her. And then he started, and as you would if you got cucked like that, right, being mean to her. And so, but because his support system was all through her, like his mom's dead, right? And he doesn't have a lot of he has a lot of yes men because he's a fucking billionaire and a rapper.
Exactly.
And all this.
Exactly.
And so he's just left to do whatever the fuck he wants, and nobody's there to say, yeah, yo, you're going over the fucking line. And now through all that, going through this divorce, now he owes $250,000 a month of child support and alimony, which is mind-blowing. Not fair. I don't think that should be allowed in this country. No. I think that's way too fucking high for anybody, and it's completely unsustainable, and it quite frankly sounds punitive on the part of the fucking judge in the case.
Yeah, well, it doesn't even sound like there's no way that's scalable to, like, you know, I mean,
it's because it's California.
Sure, right. Well, go ahead, Sammy.
Well, the other thing too is like it's not like she's poor. She's Kim Kardashian. Say what you will about her, but she like has businesses of her own. You know, she has her own money.
She might have more money than him overall.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, okay, the kids maybe, but geez, like, you know.
Well, and she cheated on him is the instigation of all this, but that doesn't matter anymore in California. So
no.
Adultery or like a faulted divorce in California doesn't actually exist. So it's always a no-fault divorce. And in a no-fault divorce, the guy just pays money in California. It's a stupid system.
Yeah,
so he's getting fucked. He's probably getting fucked. He definitely got fucked for some of the stuff he said on his business contracts. And like, okay, let's give some red meat here. Let's give some like honest, like truth. He got fucked by a couple of Jewish record label guys.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely.
100%. And probably more than just record labels too. If you really want to get cut to brass tacks, I think that's where a lot of this comes from. And I wanted to push back just a little bit on the clear mental illness thing, because in our entire human history, there's been a very fine line between genius and lunatic. And the way that those people are pushed typically depends on the people around them. A good woman, a good family, etc. People that care about them.
That's why I pointed out his support system is fucking gone.
Absolutely.
So like if you're on that line like he was, and then you have no support system, and then you're consistently ignore the fact that they're Jewish for a second. He got fucked by his record label. He got fucked by Adidas. He got fucked by his bank. He got fucked by God. Who else? There were several. Others.
I mean, literally everybody. The dude's lost. He's basically lost everything as far as his business dealings.
He lost something concerned. like $2 billion.
Like over in hours, within hours, I believe, if not overnight. Yeah.
And so in his mind, Pete Davidson's Jewish. The record label guy was Jewish. And so he says, here's the point. This was the point of no return for Kanye, but I want to give it like a benefit of a doubt here and frame it in a way that will make sense to people. When he said the death con on these Jews line, right, on Twitter, I think that's what he meant. I think he specifically meant these Jews that just fucked me over.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And he wasn't like, there's this grand Jewish conspiracy. But the reaction to what he said
Mm-hmm.
Open the door for a fucking piece of shit like Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos to come and say, oh, yeah, you know what, yay? You don't have a support system. We'll be your support system,
Exactly.
Kanye.
Oh, yeah,
And you're
100%.
right. It's not just those Jews. It's all the Jews, and it's all the time, and just feeding them all their bullshits. And we make fun of Nick Fuentes a lot on this side of the internet, but he can be a charismatic speaker to the right listener. And I think that's lost on a lot of people.
Yeah,
And
well,
same with Milo. Milo's way more charismatic, to be fair. He's just
Yeah,
a scumbag.
there's a meme of Kanye and like his brain is spaghetti, and you can see like I couldn't find it, but there's a meme I saw today earlier of like it's Kanye and the top of his head is kind of cut off, and you can see his brains, and it's like spaghetti, and you can see Nick and Milo like playing with his spaghetti brains, which is kind of accurate. I mean,
we don't
more or
know that.
less.
It certainly seems that way, and that's where I'm kind of conflicted
I don't
here.
think he has no agency in this. To be
That's
fair,
right.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that Kanye seems very susceptible to suggestion. And
Well, and something that seems to have gone over a lot of people's heads today, with the "I like Hitler" and the talk about the Jews. I mean, he was literally doing an Alex Jones bit to the point that Alex Jones got uncomfortable. That's the shit that Alex has done for over a decade. Painting
Yeah.
himself like a frog, sorting drones out of the fucking air, and, being this fucking crazy person for the things he believes. And Kanye did it in Kanye's way on Alex's show. That in and of itself is kind of an artist's take on what's going on in his life. He's just fucking putting the pedal to the floor.
That's where I was going with this. So we've gotten now up to the tweet, the DEFCON tweet, right? And then everything gets canceled. So suddenly he goes from these specific Jews that have fucked me over the last year, and maybe he worded it, in a way that left him open for this, right?
He was on Ambien, right?
But I do think that it came not from a place of like, oh, it's a Jewish conspiracy. It seems like if you read the tweet in context of what was going on, like I'm going on these Jews, the ones that fucked me over, and the thing too in the black, because I'm like an old school hip hop guy. One thing I'll say, I actually don't like Kanye's music very much. He's got
no, it's not great.
no.
He's like I was just talking to a friend of mine about this. He's like Dr. Seuss compared to like most other rappers of that kind of conscious style,
Sure.
where they're like Walt Whitman, you know what I mean?
Right.
He's got a very simplistic rhyme style. He's got a very naive and almost childish worldview in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but his music, he's got a few.
He
songs
reaches
that,
people. He reaches people, and it's not everyone's cup of tea, but 100% he is an artist that speaks to a lot of people. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And in hip hop, the problem is he owes his entire career to Juice. Is it like 100% he wouldn't be shit without Rick Rubin, right? Like nobody would know who the fuck Kanye, Jay-Z.
Yeah, no, they all owe their careers to Rick Rubin. I mean, that is an undeniable fact. Yeah.
Among other people like Jimmy Iovine, and like there's Jews in the music industry, and you can say, well, yeah, they screw people over sometimes, but like if you're a fucking record label exec, you're gonna screw people over. Like it takes a shark to do that fucking job.
Yeah.
Right. And something that I've thought about, just to interject a little bit here, like if you take that DEFCON tweet and you replace it with anybody else, if you replace it with, I'm going DEFCON on these white boys, I'm going DEFCON on these niggas, I'm going DEFCON on these Jews, I don't know that any other way would it be assumed that he was talking about the entire race, except for maybe white people, because that's kind of the narrative lately. If Kanye tweeted out, I'm going DEFCON on these white boys, then it would be, all white people are bad. But, I mean, yeah, so the reaction to it, I couldn't say would be any different. If he came out and said, I'm going DEFCON on these white boys, but he was talking about some fucking dudes he just played a basketball game with that beat him, that, you know, wasn't posted on social media or whatever, and he went to fucking sleep. And then 12 hours later or 8 hours later, he signed back into Twitter. And
but we're rage bait culture, right? So
right, of course, yeah.
Everybody's looking for this thing. And then on top of that was the nomenclature, right? He said DEFCON 3.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
He didn't know the word He didn't know the word DEFCON. I truly believe he didn't know the word DEFCON.
Yeah. I was gonna say, look, I know a lot of black people that would all say that.
Yeah,
phrase
exactly.
The same way.
Yeah, and mean
it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, it's what is it? Not ebonics. God damn it.
Nomenclature.
No, there's like a specific
it's kind of a malpropism where you mispronounce words even when you look at them correctly.
It's something in the realm of ebonics, but there's a different, like, more wokeism term for it, like
Sure.
Colloquialism or something like that.
No, fuck. Excuse me.
It doesn't matter. The point is, like, culturally, most black people, well, not most, but like a large selection of black people in America would have put that the exact same way. They would have spelled it as DEFCON because that's what they would think the word actually is.
Yeah. Well, and then you have
AAVE, African American Vernacular. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, and
DEFCON. We're going DEFCON 3 on these fools. Yeah, that's African American vernacular. Just mispronouncing English.
And I'll tell you why too, and why it would affect Kanye in particular, because Kanye was part of Def Jam Records, and the thing about Def Jam, right, is that it's DEF, right, and so they think that is a slang Ebonics word, and so there wouldn't be a regular non-Ebonics term that uses that word. That's why it's so common.
Def Jam. Yeah, okay. That definitely makes sense. Right.
They know Def Jam, and they know that that's not the same thing, but it's like, well, that's a black word, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to use the other one, it's obviously not going to, like the white people aren't going to say that, you know?
God damn, dude.
It's actually a logical fucking conclusion.
No, it's not only logical, it's incredibly awesome and fun. Like, it's an amazing, it's like a painting, and like being painted in front of our eyes. It's amazing. You know, we laugh at a lot of things here on this little corner of the internet of ours, especially you and I, Max. Sammy's, you know, he dabbles in the political perhaps more than you and I do, but I mean, this is cataclysm. This is like a fucking meteor hitting the internet kind of thing. You know what I mean? It is affecting. Nick fucking Fuentes is wandering around with Kanye West right now. Good fuck, dude.
So, yeah, no. Okay. So the other thing I want to point out is, like, I have ties to the hip hop industry, at least on the underground scene, going back 25 years, right? And I've been a producer in the hip hop genre and things like that. And I know some people. And so I've been asking some of my rapper friends, you know, their take and what's going on today. And I got a public response that I'll share with you guys now, if that's okay.
Yeah,
from an artist.
Sure.
And so I asked, you know, a guy I've known for many years. He's Necro. His music is like,
I'm familiar.
Super offensive, right, and way over the line. But Necro's Jewish, and he was raised in Brooklyn. He's you know, he's a little biased on this, and so I said in Twitter, I said, can we get a yay diss? Come on, you know, you have to. And he just replied to me while we were on air, and he said, nobody would care because people are lost these days, and people are allowing this behavior. Hopefully he dies soon.
Oh, shit.
That's what Necro had to say. I have some other artists that I can't share what they've said, but
sure.
The consensus is that there is no going back into like the hip hop space for him.
No,
he would have to do it completely by himself.
Yeah, no, I don't imagine there is.
And that's not just on the rapper side of things, because that's what people think hip hop is, right? It's all just the rap. But hip hop is an industry, and there are people with desk jobs, right? There are people with, you know, who sit in a recording studio, just recording drums all fucking day, right? And things like that. And from top to bottom, anybody I've talked to within the hip hop industry, and granted, like I said, I only mostly know underground people. I don't know the big name guys, but pretty much nobody will work with him. No producers, no gaffs, no sound guys, no engineers. Nobody's going to work with him going forward. And it doesn't matter what happens from here. Like that's pretty much he's done.
Well, I wouldn't put it past him or anybody of his, financial and social stature to forge something different. And I think
that's what he would have to do. Yeah, that's what I was getting
I think that's kind of his. I think that's kind of what he's going after here. I don't, maybe not, or clearly not the most sane or logical way. But who knows? Maybe Nick Fuentes is maybe he's the next Rick Rubin. Maybe he will. Maybe he's got some sick beats lined up. He's been a huge Kanye fan for a long time. Maybe he's got some sick rhymes in his little notepad.
Well, look, I know a guy he could hook up with. He could hook up with MC Jarbo.
MC Jarbo. There's legitimate black conservatives that would fucking die to have Kanye do a song with them that have money from the last
I'll tell you this.
5 years of grifting.
I forgot about one. I forgot about specifically one of my friends in the hip hop industry who probably will end up working with Kanye is Bryson Gray. So I
was literally gonna say Bryson fucking Gray. That's awesome.
He's one of the ones that hadn't responded to me yet, but I got quite a few that did, and they're all just like nobody at the studio, nobody anywhere is, and getting his music out there would be a problem too, because you have the whole distribution side. He's not getting his shit on Spotify from here on out. That's not going to happen. He's not going to be able to print up records anywhere. He's going to have to build the fucking factory himself. He's going to have to build his own platform.
Well, we are on the cusp here of the new Elon Musk world. And if this man even wins at all, he will build Twitter into the everything fucking platform that he is claimed to. And I don't put a lot of stock into Elon Musk. I literally don't own anything that he sells. But the dude is autistic and driven enough, and seemingly
he has a vision.
Enough of a visionary. That's literally what I was going to say. He's enough of a visionary that I don't think anything's going to stop him, other than it will take a tidal wave of the entire establishment against him, which is what's trying to happen now. But I don't think. I was going to say I don't think Elon Musk would turn Kanye away, but he's already shunned Alex Jones because he has a personal slight against his take on Parkland. So,
well, but also like at the end of the day too, and Whiskey Runner brought this up on the last stream. At the end of the day, Elon is also a businessman, so he knows that Alex is controversial, so he might just be saying, the thing out being offended as.
Well, like if he brought Alex Jones back in that first wave of unbans, I'll tell you right now, they would have been pulled from the Apple Store already.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, for sure. And
I think that has much, like, people are like, oh, he, like you said, he has a personal bias against Jones. I actually think it has more to do with that than it does with his personal feelings about the.
Well, I was just going on what he specifically publicly responded to.
Right.
Questions about Alex Jones being reinstated, and he was like, I will never prop up anybody that stands on the graves of children after watching my own son die in my arms, making it personal and all this other whatever. That's fine. He's
and I mean, if you watched Alex's response though, he's like, yeah, that's fine. I don't really care about.
Yeah, Alex has been banned from fucking everything for the last like 5-6 years now, and he's still.
It seems like the people who care the most about him getting back on Twitter are people who don't even pay attention to him.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Sam. No,
no, you go ahead.
all I was gonna say is it's really weird, like. And funny, kind of watching all these people who usually hate Alex Jones today on Twitter kind of being like, I feel bad for Alex Jones because he looks like a deer caught in the headlights.
Which is that in and of itself is fucking incredible. Like that is literally art. To watch that
Yes.
in its entirety, to be like, Alex does not know what to do. That's what I mean, Alex Jones found out how Joe Rogan felt.
Alex Jones
You know?
came off as the reasonable centrist. How the
Yeah.
fuck does that happen? And
Yeah.
not just to people like us,
To literally everyone, right?
but even people on the left were like, "He's making Alex Jones uncomfortable." Look at this fucking guy. No, but then we're kind of glossing over a part, because before the Alex Jones thing, he had hooked up. They went and they had Kanye had already had a scheduled dinner with Trump. And Kanye was, as you do when you go to Mar-a-Lago. Let's see, I haven't gone to Mar-a-Lago, but I know some people who have. And this is, with any big, like, a guy like Trump he's going to have a dinner. He's going to invite you to dinner. Okay, well, you get +2 or +1 or whatever. Sure, and you bring somebody with you. That's lavish. Like, who hasn't been invited to a fucking dinner party with a +1 in life, right? Yeah. Probably Nick Fuentes. But that was his time to be a +1 for once in his life. And there's varying reports on what occurred at this dinner. But it seems to me, from what Kanye said, because he did put up a video explaining that Trump yelled at him, and he also claimed that Trump was like dazzled by this guy. That was the exact term he used by Nick Fuentes. But then Trump yelled at him and said, "You're never going to win," and kicked him out. That's Kanye's story. Trump's story is not actually too different from that, except he said, "I have no idea who Nick Fuentes is," which is, I mean, certainly true.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there are media pundits on the left who are like, "Oh no, Trump knows exactly who Fuentes is," and it's like, no, Trump's a 79. Yeah, now he does, but it's like before that, it's like, yeah, Trump's a 79-year-old man, and yeah, he might be internet savvy to an extent, but it's not like.
Well, didn't Trump call the people in Charlottesville fine people protesting? He was talking specifically about Nick Fuentes.
He was also this is the great part, is people that I'm certain of, and there's only probably a handful more of people who are Seville people and also Gen Sixers. Yeah. Nick Fuentes and Baked Alaska are the two big ones.
Yeah.
And I wonder what. I won't get into it,
sure.
But it glows a little bit, in my opinion. Yeah.
A little bit, dude. That shit cracks like an old school glow stick and shook up, and thrown into the dark.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're on Odyssey, so we can go into that.
Well, look, I mean, I said it on the last show we did, and I was trying to be maybe I was a little stoned because I was sober and then smoked that little roach, but I was trying to be like kind of gentle about it, but it seems so clearly like a hitch in the giddy up of Trump 2024, like a perfect little setup. You know what I mean?
And then lo and behold, it's come out since then that Milo said before and after this dinner that was exactly his intention, that he felt slighted. He felt slighted by the Trump administration. And because he lost everything, and it's like, well, yeah, like you, much like Ye is doing now, you went really fucking edgy, Milo, and at some point you fucking alienated everybody and they left, because that's the game you fucking play when you edgelord like that. It's always when you get into an edgelord pissing contest, these things never go well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know.
Shit. Twitter deleted fucking Kanye's the tweet you had up on screen. The tweet you have on screen is apparently deleted. I can't find it now.
Oh wow!
If you refresh your browser, it will go away.
Maybe
not. Look, maybe that's just the theme for this show. We got a swastika of David. That's the thumbnail.
Let me.
For fuck's sake, dude.
Oh yeah,
it's gone.
This tweet violated Twitter rules.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
man.
think that's a tough call that Elon made there, but I think that he's not going to catch much pushback for it.
No, I mean, well, and look, people like, oh, well, Elon's full free. Elon, if he's going to be real free speech, he needs to be full on. And it's like, well, he's also a businessman, and like,
All right. Well, I might get banned now because I just reposted the screenshot of it.
that's funny though.
That's hilarious. I mean, look, that is fucking. Have you seen the yay, in the white circle with the red background that straight up looks like a swastika with a couple of extra lines in it? Have you seen that? The Yee logo.
Yeah, isn't
that is funny as shit, dude. And also where he's wearing like some some spiffy Hugo Boss looking style. It's like a cartoon of him in a uniform looking like a fucking Nazi officer.
I've seen a lot today.
Yeah, there's been a lot. Exactly. And look, I have to choke back the tears to soak in the reality of it sometimes because it is none of this shit's real. But it is very real.
It certainly does. It certainly seems like something out of a television or something. And at that, like absurdist television, like a sketch comedy show. But
yeah,
this is the world we live in. The thing with the Milo and the dinner, no, I don't think that ruins Trump in 2022. I think that's absurd. I think this is going to be long forgotten in terms of the election. See, this is why this shit all happening like within a couple weeks of the midterms. Great. Also, what came out today that y'all all might have missed, Baked fucking Alaska broke a goddamn story that I think has a lot of value. And that story is that Alex Stein was engaged in a sexual relationship with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I saw that.
He was acting as an intern for her.
Whoa. Oh, damn it, Sammy. I sent a DM to you guys group message because my Twitter's glitching out. Sorry about that. That's wild. Really? That's true?
Yeah. And then Jesse, PS, from Pod Awful, released the screen cap that Baked Alaska had shown him from Alex Stein saying, I fucked her, but she does that all the time. Don't tell anybody about this. And now obviously Baked is mad because Jesse released the screenshot. But I personally, look, Pod Awful did nothing wrong. And the persecution
he never does.
He never does. The persecution of Pod Awful is not dissimilar to the persecution of Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, because all Pod Awful did is release a bit of information that he was given.
Yeah. I mean,
Sammy, hold on, time out before you respond. After you respond, type in just YE24 into your Twitter search bar and scroll down that. But go ahead.
No,
right, that's actually the file name on the swastika of David or whatever the fuck it is.
Is it really?
Yeah, the file name on it is yay24.jpg. So
if you search that on Twitter, about a couple of scrolls down, you will see someone very familiar. And your audience, certainly going back years, will recognize someone very familiar.
Oh yes. I've already seen that screenshot.
You've seen that screenshot, okay? But even a little bit, that one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's
scroll a little
too.
further. Scroll a little further, past the Alex Jones one, and you'll see a Roman emperor, Kanye West. Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Net and Yahoo. I love that. The Net and Yahoo.
I mean, that was
that's funny.
That's what I was
Past
crazy.
That, Sammy.
Is like we are watching in real time Kanye West do anti-Semitic prop comedy for Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Matrix, motherfuckers.
Keep going, buddy. Well, look, I don't even know if that's not even Net and Yahoo is not even really anti-Semitic. That's his name sounds like Net and
what he
Yahoo.
was saying was anti-Semitic, though, bro.
What did he say? Well, what did he say?
He said that we're going to control all the banks and all the media.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
he
I
did.
just remember him
He
saying
said it in the Elmo voice.
He said it in Elmo. I remember him saying something in a funny voice, and then being like, "Oh, I didn't know you were going to talk like that, Mr. Netanyahu."
Oh, shit. But you keep fucking up my narrative, right? We're going in time segments. All right, so
sorry.
The Trump dinner, right? We all saw the fallout. Media freaking out. Milo probably set the whole fucking thing up. We see that all come out. Then a lot of shit came out because, as you know, and from kind of the logosphere of the internet, we had a lot of information that normal people should see about Milo a little bit, but mostly Nick Fuentes. So that starts going viral. The motherfucker Jimmy fucking Kimmel plays a clip of Nick Fuentes saying dating women is gay.
Yeah.
Having sex with women is gay. And that's on the Jimmy Kimmel show now. It's like, what is this fucking timeline?
Did you see my tweet to Vickers where I'm like, imagine if one of Kimmel's staff members were to dig a little further and discover Ethan Ralph? And,
well, that's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
at this point,
I'm
and
not
Baked
confident.
Alaska.
I'm not confident that it will, man.
I am confident for a couple reasons, but we'll see, I guess. But the big
you don't have
one,
to keep scrolling, Sammy. Apparently, it's not on your timeline. But anyway,
okay.
Go ahead, Max. Sorry.
The big one was the next thing. You know, we thought that was the peak, right? We had the Trump dinner. And, you know, that made the fucking headlines, and we didn't even really have much to go on. It was kind of he said. And then we had the Kimmel thing, and then it's like, oh, not only Kanye, but Milo and Nick Fuentes are going to be on Timcast IRL. Now, I refuse to watch anything Tim Pool ever since he threatened to shut down my YouTube channel with copyright strikes because I showed a video of him having his hat pulled off because he's fucking bald.
Yeah, he sucks so bad, dude.
By the way, Tim Pool is bald. Bald as a fucking baby, newborn. No, newborn babies have hair more than him. Fuck you, Tim Pool, and fuck that slut Lydia.
Yeah, no, Tim Pool, he's worse than bald. He's got like a 65-year-old's horseshoe since he was like 25 years old.
Yeah,
so he's like Sammy's age, and he literally had a horseshoe that went back behind the crown of his fucking head.
Yeah, Keemstar killed it right there.
I'm sorry, God. I'm sorry.
That is pretty funny.
Oh God! God bless you, Keemstar. Oh fuck.
So anyway, I'm like, I'll watch
Yay.
this. I'll watch this for Tim Pool, right? Because he's gonna have Kanye on. This is gonna be hilarious, right? But I had no idea. I don't think any of us knew what we were in for. It was like 10 minutes into the show, and Tim Pool's just like, yeah, I don't think that it's like, all Jews in the world are out to get you, Kanye. And he's like, that's it. I'm out of here. And he fucking leaves. He leaves Fuentes and fucking Milo just sitting there trying to scramble to figure out what the fuck's going on. And by the way, the interesting fun fact is Kanye didn't just immediately leave the show. He stood up, he took his headphones off, he walked around the table behind Tim Pool to grab some cookies, and then walked back behind Tim Pool to go out the fucking door. And from what I understand, the studio is on the third floor of this fucking house, and it's like gigantic. And so he then spent the next like 30 minutes trying to find the exit.
Well, so what I want to know is what the fuck is up with this getup that he looks.
We're getting there. We're getting there. See, you got to go on the timeline. You got to go on the timeline, right? You got to tell the story.
Okay.
That's why I've been in radio a long time, right?
Yeah.
So next is Alex Jones. Now, interesting fact. You mentioned the face mask, the GIMP mask, right? He did not wear that on Tim Pool's show, right? Did you know that the face mask in Kanye lore indicates that he's actually in character as Donda, the masked rapper? which is this character he created for himself. And a lot of rappers do this. You may be familiar with Eminem and Slim Shady.
Yeah.
They have a character that is kind of more hardcore.
He never wakes up before noon, so I'll try. I might not see him tomorrow. I might see him the next day.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, but I will.
Just lost my train of thought there. So yeah, he's got this character which is a little more brash. You know, the Donde character is a little more in your face. The Donde character, and he'll tell you this if you read his interviews and things like that, when he going back a few years, when he puts that gimp mask on and creates the Donde character, he feels like he's free to do things that he wouldn't normally do as Ye. And so that mask, to a Kanye fan, it's actually significant that he would wear that mask on Alex Jones. And it's also significant that he would be way more aggressive about what he's talking about and way more over the top while wearing that mask. Because what we saw today wasn't actually Ye on Alex Jones, but it was Donda or Donde. I'm not sure how you say it.
I think it's Donda.
Yeah.
That's what we saw on Alex Jones. It was this character, right? And but the thing is, in his mind, that makes fucking sense. And maybe to somebody like Nick Fuentes, who's like a hardcore fanboy who wants to, probably has sucked his dick at this point. Let's be real. He looks like he sucked a few dicks this last week in his fucking blue hoodie.
Yeah, the same goddamn blue hoodie.
Like, motherfucker, change. Like, I get it. They last minute were like, hey, we're going with Kanye. And of course, that little. Oh, wait, we're on Odyssey. That little faggot was like, yeah, we'll go. I want to go with Kanye. And he packed like one fucking set of clothes because he's an idiot, right? And he's also not as rich as he pretends to be, so he can't just go buy a bunch of clothes when he's out on the fucking town. So now he's wearing his dirty fucking cum-ridden hoodie that probably smells like rotten McDoubles and cum.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah, no, this is the man who I'm sorry, this is the little boy who wears like, you know, moderately not like a blazer on his own show, right? But he can't be bothered to like.
But you notice it's always the same one.
Yeah,
he only has like one or two suits.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
And that's because he doesn't like. I tweeted about this earlier today. I was like, I get it that you don't go outside a lot, Nick, but people notice when you don't change your fucking clothes. Especially when you have the eyes of the world kind of, maybe not on you, but on the guy standing right next to you.
Yeah, look, bro, like you can't even go to work at a job that has an entire employee base of 30 or 40 people. Or let's go 200 people that work at this place. You go to work for 4 days in a row wearing the same fucking clothes. Everybody, if not everybody, a handful, enough people are going to notice that everybody's going to notice because they're all going to talk. You're going to be dirty. You're probably going to smell funny.
At a certain point,
and even if you
send
don't,
you home.
And even if you don't look dirty and smell funny, let's say you wash that hoodie and pair of jeans every fucking day, they're going to notice that you only wear the same fucking.
They're all going to think that you're dirty, whether you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. You wash it every day, but you're wearing the same shit. People are like, yeah, he doesn't wash that shit.
And you know what? The benefit you have of working in a place with, say, 300 people is you can talk to enough of them and be like, no, bro, I mean, I don't have that much money. These are the only clothes that I really have for this kind of weather for now. And I do wash them every day. Look, you can smell. And then you do that to 15 people. All 300 are going to know. You can't fucking do that on the internet. You just can't. There is millions of people viewing this shit under infinite contexts, and there's chopped up in every different way, you know. So
there's people like Zanny Berries, there's people like the A-Logs, you know, generally on Twitter who are looking for you to do fucked up shit.
Yep,
and they're gonna notice instantly.
They will.
Of course, we did.
They will create an entire complex narrative around it, no matter how true or false it is, just based on one tangential piece that is visible to the entire public.
And
Yeah.
this is me being generous to the kid, right? Because
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's a piece of garbage. I would, if somebody put a bullet in Nick Fuentes' head, I wouldn't shed a single fucking tear. But
No,
like
neither would I.
from a just a practical standpoint, it's like, kid, what are you fucking doing? This is a kid that just admitted he had like 500 grand given back to him by the government. So you can't afford a fucking hoodie? And look, I understand having a favorite hoodie. I got mine right here. I wear this all the fucking time, but I'm conscious of not wearing it all the time when I stream. It's actually from another rapper friend of mine, Mises. And it's a defund the media is what it says. And I've worn it so much that the lettering is worn off the front.
Yeah.
So to the point where when people see me in public, they're like, wait, what is it? It says defund the what? And I'm like,
Yeah,
media,
right.
the fucking media. And they're all like, oh,
Defund
yeah.
the mobby kick. What is that?
Defund the mafia. Why?
No, man, look, and that's the other thing is I, as not even remotely a rich man, as a middle manager in a fucking retail store, basically, I have favorite jeans, I have favorite hoodies, I have favorite shirts, and you know what I do? I buy multiple of the ones that fit me and look the best, so that I'm
Yeah.
not wearing the same fucking color. I'm not wearing the same thing every single day. Effectively, I'm wearing the same brand every day, the same shirt, just a different color, different pants, different shoes, different color hoodie, different design on that hoodie, etc. It's not that hard to shop for yourself when you're an adult, to buy things that fit you and that suit you, things that fit both your style and both your physical body.
Well, and Kanye has all kinds of wardrobe. He's wearing different things every time I've seen him this last week, right? But the thing is I mean, the way I think he sees it is, well, Nick's a fucking grown man, and he's certainly not my size because he's a midget.
Yeah.
So he's on his own. He can go buy a fucking t-shirt
dude,
or whatever.
Do you know how much of a fashion statement it would be if Nick Fuentes was wearing Kanye West clothes? You know how they, like, grown adults at fashion shows wear shit that looks like they were made for someone 9 feet tall, and that's supposed to be fashion? I mean, Fuentes could pull that off, looking like he's wearing his
Fair
dad's
enough.
fucking suit and shit.
Well, he looks like that anyway. So.
Yeah, what is he, 5'3"?
Yeah.
I've never seen the guy wear a suit that fits.
No.
I've never seen the guy wear anything that even looks remotely fashionable. I mean, it's always, again, I'm also in the camp. I've literally never watched anything Nick Fuentes, and this is painful to admit, but I've never watched anything Nick Fuentes related that Owen Benjamin didn't watch on his channel back in the day, because I was an Owen clipper, for a couple years back then. But I don't give a. I just don't. He just seems like a stupid kid. Like, he's just like all these other fucking retards on TikTok.
You're actually wrong, and I'll tell you why. And it's worse than you think. He is just a stupid kid. He's exactly what you think he is. You're kind of right. But in that, he's more dangerous, and he's more of a problem, because he is influencing these kids with his bullshit. And he is telling these kids, his loyalty oath for them, if you haven't seen the clips, is to tell all these kids, these 15-year-old boys, raise your right hand and say you will kill, rape, and die for Nick Fuentes. And he has them do this at least once a week on his stream. Like, what he is a gatekeeper, I guess you could say, a honeypot, but I don't think he realizes that's what he is. I think there's people around him, Baked Alaska being one of them, whoever handles them over at these federal agencies. And yeah, I'm going to fucking say it. That's who's handling all these fucking people from America First. If you don't think so, you're a fucking idiot.
Blind.
They see what he is. He is a guy who is just clean cut enough, just well-spoken enough, just influencery enough that he can get a following of some young, conservative-leaning kids. And then they can take those young kids off the playing field forever by associating them with him and his ideology. If they don't get wrapped up in, like, saying the crazy shit or the gay, cat boy shit or any of that, right? if they just watch his show,
Yeah.
they're still poisoned by the association of you gave Nick Fuentes money. That's the whole fucking point. They have a way now that they can funnel out these kids that would lean towards conservatism and just take them off the playing field forever. Now you know you have no future in politics anymore because all anyone has to say is you were associated with a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, and that's
Sammy,
And that's the whole point.
But the thing is to a significantly lesser degree, this is exactly the protocol that happened with Owen Benjamin, where he was demanding fealty, he was locking shit down, he was banning, prolific donators, all in the guise of culling the herd. You have to adhere to the core principles. And I, as a Clipper back then, thought it my moral obligation to be like, guys, you're being duped. You're being duped. Look, he's a liar. And I'm the fucking idiot. I was the idiot here. And all of that, I look like I literally have my foot in my fucking mouth in this situation, because nothing I said was ever going to matter. If any, it was spit in a pond kind of thing. Like, the influence that these people have is far greater than any of these little interjections that you or I could ever do.
Correct.
And on this sort of scale, anyway.
And that's why you'll hear me talking about this right now here, because it's relevant to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch my show, I don't talk about Nick Fuentes. I don't talk about Ethan Ralph.
No.
Because I'm smart enough to know that I would just be drawing them attention. And look, I love the A-Law guys, right? I'm kind of part of that sphere to a degree because of the whole Johnny Fox, Falco Punch stuff.
Yeah.
And like, and I love me some Ralph memes. They're hilarious. I love some of the Nick Fuentes memes. Jim's stream about all of this shit the last couple months has been hilarious. I get all that, right? But the most successful thing that the A-Logs have done this year was No Ralph November. Because I guarantee you that cost Ralph thousands of dollars in real money.
That's right, dude. That's exactly what I was getting at. And I wasn't specifically calling you out. I was just using what you were talking about as an example of myself and my past experiences here on the internet in relation to this, because Owen and Nick were connected back then, even though a significant portion of the clips that I did was Owen talking shit about Nick. Like, major shit about Nick. And now they're connected at the fucking yay.
Of course.
what
Of course, because they're both a couple of fucking And the thing
and
is,
they have been all along. They have.
The reality is that neither one of them believes in anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, what's funny to me is that so I have friends who work in DC who are either like part of the actual political media or they work for actual like politicians in the Republican Party. And it's been pretty funny because like I've actually had a few people like call me and be like, okay, can you tell me who this Nick Fuentes guy is? Do we actually need to worry about him? And I'm like, and I'll give them an explanation, and they're like, oh, he's just an internet guy then. And I'm like,
yep.
And I'm like,
all of these problems could be solved if people just got the fuck off of the internet and got back to sowing fields, raising their families, building an actual community, focusing on local government, all of those things.
I'm not a Luddite, and I could argue with you about this all day. But yeah, people spend too much time online. Right?
That's kind of my
at the
point.
end of the fucking day, or too much time focus. Like, here's the thing: there's a young guy in our Gilded server, which, by the way, I'm banned on Discord. We have a Gilded server. We have a lot of fun in there.
I've got one too.
Sam's got he's got a Gilded server, and this younger guy, he's obsessed. He's one of those doom scrollers, right? That he looks at all the bad stories on his feed, and it kind of it fucks him up a little bit. Like, I'm concerned about this kid. And so what I've told him is, because he's like, well, I'm just interested in politics. I'm like, what you're doing isn't politics. One, you're focused on activism, and activism isn't politics.
They do go hand in
Activism,
hand, but they're not the same. Yeah.
they're not the same thing. And the thing is, politics is actually very dry and boring for the most part, right?
Yeah.
The actual levers of power move slowly and through lots of arguing about dotting I's and crossing T's. But the activism part, which is the most visible now it's ever been because of the internet, is where the big over the top shock stuff happens. And as social media has developed, the activists have realized. I mean, you look at what what are they called? The climate morons over in Europe, Extinction Agenda, and the fact that they destroy pieces of art now, or try to. Like, they know that gets attention, and everybody clicks and says, "Oh, how horrible it is! They threw a Slurpee at a fucking priceless painting," but you clicked it. You gave them your fucking attention economy. You have to not give these people attention.
My God, they glued themselves to a painting that had a protective layer on top of it? How could they do such a thing?
Yeah, meanwhile, they're like, "Oh shit, this is easy, right? This cost us $8 at the fucking store down the street."
Yeah,
look, it's been a snowball down a hill for as long as I've been. I mean, I've been quote unquote on the internet on a surface level for a long time, but social media wise, it's only been like 6 or 7 years for me.
Well, social media is a whole different fucking animal, though.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, I was on AOL Instant Messenger and I was talking to strangers when I was 15, 16 years old, but it was a different animal than it is now. I don't have anything other than Twitter and Discord and YouTube. But I think, go ahead, Sam.
I mean, to be fair, the internet is different from even when I joined the internet.
Well, so is life, though. You know what I mean? It's just like every other part. It's going to be evolving, and that's the difficult part that I find, is to assess all of this shit from a pragmatic sense.
I did a show, a video, very recently, about like the scientific kind of look at how social media affects the brain, and in different cases. And it didn't get a lot of views because it's kind of heavy topic. I went into like white papers and shit. But the bottom line is, how social media affects you personally is different than how AOL Instant Messenger or forums or any of that affected people, because of the instantaneousness of it, and because of the grandiosity of the ability for reach. The ability to go viral changes the dynamic, and so now clicks equals dopamine.
Right.
Yeah. And I've said for years on the Whitfield Report here, and I have forever quoted it to something Joe Rogan said, and I don't know if it's a verbatim quote or not, but the internet and social media specifically is a magnifying glass for mental illness. Anything that you may have, underneath the surface that's probably sustainable in real life, talking to real people, doing real things, is magnified and blown the fuck up when you can get millions of clicks. You can get millions of people's attention looking at you, thinking about you, talking about you, reacting to you, etc., etc. Narcissism. All of that shit goes through the fucking roof when you add in the potentially the whole world, even a few hundred people. I mean, most people don't know or talk to 100 or more people in their daily lives, but you can get on Twitter.
I forget the name of the effect. I forget the name of the effect, but your brain actually can only recognize so many human faces.
Yeah, exactly. You only have the ability to like adhere to a certain number, or I guess on average, a certain number of people within your social circle before shit starts getting pushed out. So if you're going to start adding more things in, I think my general, and this is kind of me projecting a little bit, but the enhancement of like social anxieties, just inherent self-hatred, all of that shit gets blown through the roof. And for me, it's the negatives. I think about all the negatives when I do this shit. If you know, I'm not trying to go viral. I'm not trying to be an influencer or anything of that. So when I do these things, which is the main reason I've been here with Sam for all this time, it's like a humiliation ritual of sorts for me because I'm a fucking retard. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I like Sammy and I like talking about these things because I do like learning. Generally, I don't.
I'm not too different, but mine isn't retard. I'm an artist, right? That's what I consider myself.
Well, I would have considered myself that 8 years ago, but I've forsaken all of my gifts for in lieu of self-destruction because fuck I don't want to be here anymore, and I haven't for a long time.
Well,
so I give up.
I have the opposite. I'm a very happy, and I think this is why I have the kind of mentality I do on things. I'm a dad. I live a very normal life, a very boring life. This is the fun part about like my enemies on the internet. The most interesting thing about me is trolling people online, because if you actually peel back the curtain, I've never pretended to be anything that I'm not, and what I am is actually a fairly boring. I live in a middle-class suburban neighborhood. I have my son and my wife, and we go and we're gonna go look at the Christmas lights next week at the and we're gonna have a nice normal little family Christmas, and we're very normal, like ridiculously normal, and I'm super happy that way. But my hobby is like it's always been something that I've been in radio or some type of media forever. And I do it because I love it. I love doing live radio. I love doing that kind of thing. I'm such a fucking radio nerd. I was making radio shows with my friends on cassette tapes in like 6th grade.
Yep. Same here.
It's just, it's something that I like love. And so what I do is I make fun of people, but I might change it up. But the point, I make videos about games. I have a channel just to do that, but I haven't put up anything in quite a while. I'm not looking for this. It's funny. My point was we contrast quite a bit because I'm the happy guy that's like just chilling, and you have kind of anxieties about things, which I think are actually well founded. But at the end of the day, we come to the same conclusion that the rat race to e-fame is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Well, and for me, like, I'm a lot like Max, where, I was into podcasting and radio from a very early age, and I was told from an early age that I could be famous. But like now that I've seen how people get famous, I don't want to say I'm avoiding it, but I feel like if fame comes to me, then so be it. But like I feel like the whole thing with Nick Fuentes is he's one of these kids that got.
I know where you're going, and you're 100% right.
What I have always said about Fuentes is, and this is what I explain to some of my friends who work in politics. I'm like, okay, the thing about Fuentes is he's the type of kid that is like, I'm going to say the most edgy shit possible to get clicks and views, and it's, I'm just going to be as edgy as possible because it's going to cause outrage, and that's how you get popularity. I, on the other hand, want to have, substantive conversation about politics and society, and even the internet to a certain extent, because this side of the internet fascinates me. It's not going to go viral in the same way that, Fuentes screaming out Jews is going to, but, it's okay because I care more about substance than just the outrage of it all, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely makes sense, Sammy. And I mean,
but Fuentes is the opposite, right? It's all about whatever got him that attention. And I highly recommend people to look at, I retweeted it earlier today, Augusto Pinochet put together, when the Jimmy Kimmel thing happened, he put together this exhaustive thread about Nick Fuentes with like citation, facts, like journalism. I know the joke was, oh, Augusto Pinochet is a fucking journalist, but not really. But like this was hard hitting shit, and it goes through. You can see the gradual kind of rise, and then the bat shittery around Cozy and Ethan Ralph and all that in a clear, concise manner. And what you'll notice by following this kid's story is he is, a zoomer of the social media instant gratification generation, which I think, is partly at play here, where all he could ever know was, I need to go viral. And then when he did, I need to do it again. Another person I've run into that Sam knows quite well, that has the same problem, that's what my episode of my show about him was about, was the Damo, right? The Damo, when he was, I think, 13 years old, he made a video called How to Play a Slide Whistle.
I fucking love that video, by the way.
It's hilarious, right?
It's so funny, dude.
It's great. And that's where I kind of started my show about him, and then went through all the things he did after that, because it's so obvious. He got that E-fame. He got both the positive and the negative. He had people making fun of him, but he also had, lots and lots of views and clicks. And I think he made even a little bit of money on it. And he has spent the rest of his time chasing that dragon to try and get that E-fame again. And it didn't work, to be the cringy, sketch comedy guy. So, okay, now I'll be the rip-off Sam Hyde guy. And now I'll be the serious artiste that makes black and white things and submits them to Sundance, and that didn't work. God damn it. Well, now I'll pretend I'm a one-eyed samurai with no shirt on and make fun of Ethan Ralph. Everything and then after that, he's a tranny, he's a pedophile. Like, everything he's done has been to recapture that dopamine hit that he got when he was 13 years old, because he had a 5 million view video or whatever.
And meanwhile, then we have Johnny Fox, who all three of us know, who has
tried desperately. That
He's
poor
the
old
same
fuck.
fucking thing, yeah.
The poor old fuck.
Well,
and he's out there doing it again. I have evidence that he's now view botting on his channel, but that's a whole different.
But yeah, I mean, at least Damio got like a little bit of fame. I don't even think Falco.
He did. To be fair to Johnny, he did, but it was a long fucking time ago.
Yeah.
He was notable in the Gamergate era a little bit, and he also was pretty big on Twitch. If you watch, I have the documentary is called Cringe Coffee House Presents Half-Assed and Angry, the Johnny Fox Story. I know it's a long title, but
that's a good title though.
It's just, I had to get that all in there.
Yeah.
If you look at that, he was big on Twitch, and I even have some old video of him getting hundreds of dollars of donations. So he was somebody in like 2009, 2010, he was getting and getting hundreds of dollars in donations at that time. You have to understand, he was a big deal. He absolutely was, but he wasn't a big deal for the reasons he wanted, and that's been the problem with Johnny Fox constantly.
I think that's the problem with a lot of these people. They get popular for reasons they're not expecting, and then they try to recapture, and they're chasing that dragon forever.
But they also resent the reason they got there.
Of course, well, yeah, because they can't get back there. Yeah, they try and they can't get back there, so they resent. And look,
and it's just like the heroin addict. It's exactly the same behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It's self-destructive.
Well, and see what's funny to me is, I got famous because I interviewed Ben Shapiro before Ben Shapiro was Ben Shapiro. And the one thing that Mersh and a lot of, the people who kind of have A-logged me are like, well, what have you done since? And it's like, well, I've lived my life.
Yeah, whatever fuck you want to.
obviously my show isn't like huge, but I've lived my life the way I've wanted to. I'm not looking to chase the,
Yeah,
the
you've continued
dragon
to look.
again.
You've continued to do your show. You
Yeah,
have done what you've wanted to do. You've lived your life outside of the show, and it is what it is. You still get donations. It's not,
yeah,
you don't make thousands of dollars necessarily, but who gives a fuck? It's a hobby, and that's what it's always
yeah,
been. Which is why I've told you forever that my whole goal of doing this is not to. I don't want money, even if the show makes money. I don't want it. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to, express myself and to maybe get you canceled off of certain platforms. Unfortunately, if I get a little too drunk, not on purpose, of course, but it hasn't happened yet. After I cannot believe how long I've been your co-host, Sam.
Well,
But
the other thing is, Sam, you're comfortable in your own skin.
yeah,
You got famous, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm seeking out nothing else but to be famous. It was like, oh, I have an opportunity here to interview somebody that, is would be interesting to talk to, and you did it, and
yeah,
it got attention, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm still going to make shows that interest me. You're comfortable with yourself.
yeah,
Nick Fuentes, Johnny Fox, all of these people are not comfortable with themselves. But they'll be the first ones to tell you that they're the most comfortable with themselves and that they're
yeah,
the most arrogant, but they're broken, sad little men that are just striving for anybody's attention because daddy didn't love them enough or maybe loved them a little too much.
I look. Hold on. I have to push back just a little bit on that because
Go for it.
if Sam got if I reached out to Kanye and I was like, "Hey, can you come do an interview on Sam Whitfield's stream?" and Kanye came on here,
Mhm.
just out of some miracle or whatever, I don't think Sammy would have much integrity to push back on anything Kanye said, just because he's Kanye. I mean, if John Cena, if any huge name you could think of, internet wise, if Ethan fucking Ralph came on Sam's show, and I'm Sam, this is no disparagement against you, because I'm including myself here because I'm your co-host, would have a hard time pushing back if they weren't being overly absurd. If they were just having a conversation, if you weren't asking gotcha questions, if you were just saying,
right,
"Hey, what happened with this and what happened with that?" You'd say okay, and you'd roll. You'd try to keep the shit rolling. Maybe
yeah,
not co-sign. I don't suspect you would co-sign anything they would say, but to not push back on someone against someone that is on your show to try and gain you traction would be. I mean, that would be
right,
As
the
a
smart
host, no less.
That
Right?
would be that would be the smart move.
You as the co-hosts are in a better position to push
Yeah,
back
no,
on
I
them
would
than
I would
Sam.
absolutely push back.
yeah,
No, I would be I'm the shit stir of all for sure. I
Right,
would,
but that's
but
the
I just
co-host role, right? Like the
yeah.
co-host is a little more lenient in that. But if you're the host and it's like inviting somebody over your house, right? It's like,
yeah,
and I mean, I'll be honest, this is why I don't have a lot of people on my show, because I do push, like, I say what I think. I don't try and offend people, but I'm well aware that I'm a kind of a dick, like, uh, but the thing is that's why I don't want to have those people on, because I see how that could be a problem.
yeah,
Another one is the money thing, right? And the best example I could show you for the money thing is to somebody relevant to me, and that's Christopher Cantwell, also known as the Crying Nazi. Now, he came after me. He doxed my family, doxed my wife, and said horrible things about us, threatened us, told his fans to mass report my wife's Facebook page, said nasty stuff about all this kind of shit, right? And I got into a war with him. But before all that, Christopher Cantwell was actually an anarcho-capitalist living in Keene, New Hampshire, part of the Free State Project. And he was a failed comedian, but he had a podcast and he was kind of funny sometimes. And from time to time, I would call in and I would talk to him about the Libertarian Party. right?
Yeah.
Now, when he was able to solicit donations and super chats, stuff started to change because whoever's donating is going to get the topic talked about, right? And this is true of pretty much everybody who starts getting lots of donations. It's almost impossible, and oftentimes you don't know that this is occurring yourself. You can't see it because you're like, well, I'm not talking about only what the money people say, and you know that you're not because you're not, right? You're actually talking about other things too. But over time, Christopher Cantwell's audience started to skew more and more towards the burgeoning alt-right. And when he attacked me and came after me, a lot of his fan base sided with me. And so he lost his core audience. But what it was replaced with was the audience of the rightstuff.biz and some of these alt-right outlets, right? And they were donating money to him. So he didn't miss the people like me. But then the show started to be about the Jews and how blacks are ruining America and blah blah blah, all this fucking alt-right shit, because that's who's paying his fucking bills.
That's oddly similar to my story.
Hold on, Sammy. Before you tell that,
Sam, it's similar to your story. You become a Nazi.
Well,
yeah.
No,
hold on. I just want to make it clear that for the last probably 30, 35 minutes or so, the audience has been watching a repeat of the scene from American History X where Edward Norton curb stomps that fucking guy on Twitter because you've been screen sharing your Ye 24 thing. It's just been over and over.
Yeah, no,
Edward Norton curb stomping the fucking black guy in that movie. Which we've been talking about all this shit. Jesus, Lord Almighty.
Amazing. Yeah, which I know.
Amazing.
Which I noticed, so I changed.
Yeah, you turned it off.
But no,
I was just about to say something. I was waiting for Max to finish, but you killed it before that, so I had to bring it up. Sorry.
But no, I think you meant the Owen Benjamin thing, though, right? I was just busting your balls. I got the correlation.
Well, no, what I was gonna say is, so before even Apex was my host, I knew of Nick Fuentes because back in the day I interviewed a gentleman named James Alsop, who now everyone knows,
James Alsop, yeah.
Who now everyone knows as one of the Charlottesville people. But back when I knew him, because I was part of the College Republicans, he was just, a MAGA College Republican who got his head bashed in at like an Antifa, he was at the deplorable, and he got attacked by Antifa and got his head,
Yeah, I remember that shit. That was like that was like 8 years ago, wasn't it?
It was right after like 2016, and so when I interviewed him, he came on the show, and like I basically interviewed him about that, and then at the time, like I knew he was. At the time, he was like doing interviews with Richard Spencer because he had like an online journalism thing. And so I was like, oh, so you've interviewed Richard Spencer, like, what's that like? Not realizing that he was actually becoming a fan of Richard Spencer, right?
Richard Spencer, the Joe Biden voter, right?
Yeah. So then when Charlottesville happened, like I had a bunch of libs being like, well, you interviewed this guy who was at Charlottesville, so therefore you must also like, and I'm like, no, let me clarify. Nobody in the College Republicans knew that Alsop was actually an acolyte of Richard Spencer. I was just interviewing him because I was curious about.
That's fucking wild. I've literally not even thought the name James Alsop in at least 7 years, man. I've certainly watched one or two of his videos on YouTube, but I remember all of that, and I didn't know that you did an interview with him, Sam. That's wild.
Yeah, that's the only interview that I've taken off the channel. I mean, I'm sure it's still out. I'm sure it's still out there, but one of my close friends who you know Apex was like, this might be a good one to take down just because even though you've explained it, it'll still get taken out of context.
Well,
and
there's also
whatnot,
the old
so.
saying that all press is good press, you know. And I think that's what
Yeah.
a lot of these people are banking on. I think, you know, the Fuenteses, maybe not the Fuenteses, but a lot of these E-celeb types, they're banking on that. They want the hate. I mean, especially the Ethan Ralph. Now that we're in December, that's literally his whole business model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, Max, no Ralph November was probably the most financially deficit month in the last 5 years for that man.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
Sure it was.
I mean, I have no proof, but I would argue. I would think so.
I know for a fact it was just based on his behavior during that time, and I think a lot of that's going to come out now. Some of the things that he said. Look, people were still clipping him. People were still a-logging him. They just didn't share the shit.
Oh yeah.
And he was not happy with no Ralph November. He was fucking furious. And
No,
it's
of
like,
course.
oh, isn't this what you asked for? Isn't
Yeah.
this what you said you
Leave-
wanted all along? Oh, the
leave
haters
me
should just
alone.
leave me alone. And then they leave you alone. And all of a sudden, you're
Uh-huh.
nasty about it. And there is a clip that came out a little before the end of No Ralph November, but it was too good not to, which was him
This falling out of his chair.
breaking his
But
chair.
breaking his chair. Oh fuck yeah, dude, that was
And you
so
just-
good.
You just hear like a clattering of like glass
Ka-chow!
liquor bottles.
Yeah, dude, it's a fucking ka-thunk, and then clink, 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 clink.
That
And he-
motherfucker fell into like a sea of empty Maker's Mark bottles.
It's so good.
I would love to
I broke
see
my
what
chair.
that studio looked like. Yeah, like, can you imagine if he just pointed the camera down and it's just a sea of
Oh,
fucking whiskey
he would-
bottles?
He would
Fucking
never.
gross.
Are you kidding? That would break the immersion. He just has to go. I fucking broke my chair.
And he broke it hard, dude.
He broke
Look,
it so hard.
Look, I'm a big man, okay? I'm 6'5". I'm well over 250 pounds. I'm a middle-aged guy. So I actually could be sympathetic to somebody breaking a chair. It's happened to me. But he broke that chair like it didn't exist. Like
Like it was-
gravity
like it
fucking
was-
went. Like
Like it
you
was
ever-
made out
you
of
ever-
Legos.
You ever
Kinda
play a
thing,
video
yeah.
game where there's a a cheat code to turn up the gravity?
Yeah.
That's what it was like. It was like all of a sudden gravity went to 10,000. Boom.
Well, there's fat, and then there's cartoonish, which is what Ralph is. Ralph is literally like a cartoon character
He-
with how fat.
I
he
love how his two guns are
Yes.
finally coming together in a union. They're like two smooching, disgusting fat people.
Between
coming
that
together.
and his quad titties, he has the body
Good
of like
lord.
he has the body of like a Witcher 3 swamp hag.
No, like for real. Even expanding it beyond Witcher, just some fantasy bog witch. You know,
not
four
like
tits,
a
two
human
bellies.
being that you see
No.
in reality, like a fantasy creature.
No, and you know what? To be real, they would have to be scaled up to like 6'8" just to make it look right, even in a video game. You know,
He's even
Scale
got
that
the
mo-
eyes now that are fucking.
yeah, swirling around like magic 8 balls.
I'm a dungeon master myself, you know. We're moving on. I could talk about the Dungeons and Dragons thing that nobody knows about but me. There's a lot to talk about there, but we'll get there after maybe. But I couldn't write a character as scary as fucking Ethan Ralph's physical appearance. No way.
No,
It wouldn't occur to me
You
to
are
write the mangled fucking the quad tits and the just.
you know what you could do is you could use Ethan Ralph as a template to write the scariest, monster ever.
Oh, for sure.
Again, scale it up a few feet, a few
I
hundred
have-
pounds.
I
add
have
some
a
claws.
campaign. I haven't had the chance to do it, but I penned most of a campaign. It's almost finished. Where I was converting a lot of like celebrities into characters within it, just for shits and giggles. but I need to find the right group of people to run that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You need to find people who get the references.
Well, I think that would be Akaba, for sure.
He likes VTubers and anime girls.
Yeah, he's an anime guy. I'm a classical Western fantasy guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but
he might have better luck with Vickers.
Well, but
true.
But
oh my God, yeah, I need to get Mr. Vickers in a fucking D&D campaign. That would be a riot.
Yeah.
No step on Snick. I just noticed yours. No step on Snick.
Damn right.
Background. And I just heard "Don't Tread on Me" Metallica literally in my head as soon as I read it.
And you've also
when I ran for office, that was my campaign song.
You've also got the Trump 2024 flag.
Actually, that brings up a point. So yeah, I do, but I also have in front of it, I have my internet scumbag T-shirt.
Bro, it literally looks like internet cumbag. I was waiting to bring that up because it looks like internet.
Yeah,
oh, there's the ad. Okay, it literally looked like internet cumbag.
Now,
that's awesome.
I bring this up because these are available at the Cringe Coffee House gift shop.
Ooh.
Spring, only for another couple weeks because we're coming out with a new design. So I don't make any money off of it. I keep it at wholesale price, which is just around $15 per shirt.
Oh, nice, dude.
I don't make a dime off of it. I just think it's funny to have an internet scumbag shirt. I know people sent them to Dave Grady. I am fairly sure somebody sent one to Johnny Fox. And I think somebody has sent one recently to an address that will probably get forwarded to Ethan Ralph.
Ooh.
That's hilarious. But because it's going to be ending and because of everything that's going on, I felt like this would be the appropriate time to retire.
Oh, look at this. A Sam Whitfield
Now-
exclusive. A Sam
now-
Whitfield exclusive.
We're going to take America back with Trump
That's right.
2024.
Hell yeah.
I know he's just going with like make America great again, but I think take America back is a much more fun slogan.
I like it.
I mean, so that's the other thing is Milo was on Tim Pool's show and saying like DeSantis has no popularity and no energy whatsoever, but then Trump, announced, and Milo was like, yeah, I'm not happy with Daddy, whatever he calls Trump. I wasn't happy with Daddy's speech either, which is, it's weird that he calls Trump Daddy, but
it's right up his alley.
I mean,
actually.
his whole aesthetic is weird.
Yeah, just being a fucking faggot.
Full disclosure, I've met Milo.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's as much of a faggot in real life as he pretends to be on the internet.
I mean, this is the problem is when he was doing the faggot thing, he actually was charismatic and had a point.
Yeah.
Because I met him because he was the grand marshal of the Boston Straight Pride Parade. We hired a guy that called himself a faggot to be the grand marshal of the Straight Pride Parade because that's funny, right?
That sounds like subversion, but yeah, okay, go ahead.
It's not subversion. It's just being fucking ridiculous. Because the whole point of the Straight Pride Parade, I mean, see that this is you already missed the point because you took it seriously.
Okay, go ahead.
We had gay people marching, trannies, all that shit. The point was,
is Gay Pride Parade a joke? Is that fake? Did they not march hundreds of thousands of people through, various major cities in this country doing gay shit and celebrating their homosexual nature?
Yeah.
So straight pride is a joke, right? Because we're all straight here. Okay.
Because
what the fuck,
listen,
dude?
man.
No wonder we're losing.
Okay. Well, no, we're losing. We're losing because of fucking doomers like you who don't get a joke.
Sure. Okay.
It was satire of gay pride.
Yeah, it was a satire. It was a parody.
Okay. So, okay.
And they wouldn't let us put up our flag. even though they let the Communist Party of China put up their flag like 2 days before.
And they let the
And
gay pride put up their flag.
They called
right?
us. They put my picture on several websites, calling me a homophobe, and yeah, like we got
That
all
sounds-
kinds of hate for it. But
That
at
sounds
the
about
same
right.
at the same
I'm sorry.
time,
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
yeah, I know you're
Sorry.
very
Go ahead.
angry. Look, I get it. You have a different kind of vibe about things, right?
No, I do have
am
a
the
point I was
Joker.
trying to make, but I don't want to interrupt you. I legitimately want you to finish your point. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, the point was the whole thing was because Antifa was going to be there, like it's in Boston, and they're very, very fucking serious, right? We were just creating a juxtaposition. Like they're yelling how much they hate us and want to kill us and chanting those things at us. And I made a point the whole time to just, the only thing I said to them was, God loves you just the way you are. So who's the fucking bad guy?
Yeah, no, that's look, that's all legit. I was just look, I'm just trying to be entertaining as a piece of shit co-host here, you know, just trying to
that's
push
fine,
back
that's
and you know, that's
he's,
all.
He's just trying to be contrarian.
Yeah,
I
a little
know.
bit.
I know, but I push back the pushback, and you're not used to
Yeah,
that.
of course. Look, what the fuck would you be if you didn't? God damn it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's cool. I'm cool with everybody, but
Well, look.
Look,
Also,
Sam, hold on. What I need to say is, Sammy, you need to make a crippled by the internet T-shirt with a little wheelchair,
Yes.
with rocket
fuck
launchers, with a little crippled guy wheelchair thing with rocket launchers over the back, and maybe some blade wheels if you can animate that in 2D. That would be some sweet merch for you. Crippled by the internet.
Crippled by the internet. I'll put that in my phone.
Just
I
straight
will
ripped from fucking Max here. We're gonna do that.
I will design.
Awesome.
I will design that logo and put it on a T-shirt after.
Dude, I will buy one and I will wear it proudly.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that would be hilarious.
Yeah, no.
No.
I mean, what's
But hold on. But just to back up just a little bit, I was sincerely just trying to be contrarian a little bit. It's just
okay.
I get the joke. I don't live in a big city. The biggest city
Nor
I've
do
ever
I.
lived in. The closest I've ever lived to a big city is right now, and it's about 90 miles from Chicago, which is the worst place to be if you're going to be close to a city. But you know, I'll never forget. This is my God damn, it doesn't even have anything to do with what we were talking about, but now it's in my head and I can't get it out. The only thought that I have about pride parades or anti-pride parades was on the day that I was going to a metal show, an all-show Paris show in Chicago, one of my favorite bands at the time. It's like 2012, 14, something like that. And it was gay pride in Chicago. There was like 600,000 gay people on the streets of Chicago. Most of them were fighting in the middle of the street with each other, black people, white people, et cetera, et cetera. And those that weren't fighting were knocking on the fucking window, doing gay shit, sucking on the glass, sticking their dicks up to the thing, like every fucking stoplight.
Sure.
And it was the most degenerate shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, and this is why Straight Pride in Boston was a parody, because the part of the parody, and you might actually appreciate the joke here, is we had a dress code. A very specific dress code, actually.
Yeah. Which was
you needed to be fucking dressed like you're going out in public.
Yeah.
Like, none of this fucking weird bondage shit wasn't allowed. We did have again. There's a famous picture of what was clearly a tranny marching with us. That tranny, I don't know what their deal was, but they like he, she, it. I'm not sure what the fuck it wants to be called. Was very very based, I guess you could say, in what they were saying at the very least. We also had, and this I have a little more familiarity with, is we did march with two gay men, and they did hold hands, and they marched right next to me. You can see them in a lot of the pictures that I'm in. And the reason behind that people don't know because I talked to these guys for quite a while, is they were rejected from walking in straight pride Boston because they are members of the Log Cabin Republicans, and so they were blacklisted from the gay pride parade, not the straight pride. They were blacklisted from the actual gay pride parade.
Oh.
And so they contacted the organizers at Straight Pride, who is Super Happy Fun America, the organization. And Super Happy Fun America was like, yeah, of course you can march with us. Like, our point was like what we were actually, like, our demand for the parade was to add S to LGBTQ fucking plus, and that drove, like, they went insane over that. Like, the idea that, oh, we're
just add
all
straight
just
people. Yeah, just add straight people to the mix. No, are you fuck? Are you fuck?
No, yeah.
One of the scariest moments of my life was when we first came around the corner, because all the Antifa, they had to buy tickets into the Boston Common, and if you haven't been to Boston, it's kind of hard to describe, but you're walking through a whole bunch of buildings, and then the Common is like a park in the middle of that, and it's a little grassy like park, and there was like barricades and stuff, and so all the Antifa protesters were in the park. When we got to that point, mind you, this is where the Boston Massacre happened. This is a significant piece of soil in American history. And the reason we did it in Boston specifically is because Boston has always recognized your free speech to have a fucking parade. And they recognized ours, and the police were out in force to protect us. I think it was 1,600 uniformed officers were on the streets that day just to make sure that we didn't hurt them and they didn't hurt us. The only people that got arrested were on the other side, and it was mostly for them assaulting officers after we had already left. But when I come to the Boston Commons, right, all of a sudden there's about 800 to 900 Antifa, and they are chanting, "Die, Nazi, die! Die, Nazi, die!" And there's motherfuckers trying to jump over the barricade. I seen a cop take his billy club and like clothesline him in midair. It was fucking nuts, dude. They tried to attack us, and anyone who was there who says they weren't fucking scared, I'm a big dude. I could probably defend myself pretty easily, but I was a little shook.
Nervous. Yeah, a little nervous, right? Yeah. At the least. I mean, that's the kind of shit that leads people to believe that, inevitable civil war, like the black pill that is so often referred to, because it's hard to not see that. But obviously, that 900 Antifa is a fucking infinitesimal number of the people in this country. You know what I mean?
It's an infinitesimal number of people in Boston.
Yeah.
And the other thing,
exactly.
Like why I don't become a doomer like that is because on the left-hand side was the Antifa, right? But on the right-hand side was just an open street. And some people were there to protest us. And some people saw the Trump signs and everything and came out to say, "Oh, they thought it was a Trump parade." And they came out to say, "Oh, I'm happy for what you're doing out there." And then some people were just bystanders, and they thought it was fucking hilarious because, like I said, the point of it was to be kind of absurd without being like overtly sexual or disgusting. So we had guys in like shark costumes and dinosaur costumes, and there was a guy carrying a Sargon waifu pillow for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be contrarian. Like,
there was a guy dressed up as Honkler.
Yeah, it's like it
was
contrarian
absurdist
by nature. Yeah, contrarian and absurdist by nature. Yeah, I mean, just,
and like
to push back on the absurdist nature of the other side.
Right, exactly. And there was a veteran, at least I think he was, wearing one of them veterans, like I think it was a Navy veteran hat, and he stopped me particularly and shook my hand and said, "Thank you for what you're doing out here." I don't know if he just thought it was a Trump parade. I don't know if he knew it was straight pride, but I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
He probably saw the tallest, biggest dude in the fucking group and was like, "Hey, man, let me shake your hand. Fuck yeah, America."
I got into a shouting match with Vermin Supreme. That was
fun. No, really?
Yeah.
Did
Well,
he have his
and
boot on?
he did not. He was wearing a crown that day instead of a
Oh,
boot.
what a fucking
And he
king.
was actually he was protesting us. So the funny part is we were doing Vermin Supreme's stick. We were doing
Yeah.
his bit, and he
Yep.
protested us, and he was serious. He wasn't joking.
What a
He wasn't joking. And that's why he got so mad, because I was like, oh, I'm walking along and I see him and I'm like, oh, Vermin Supreme, I love you. And he was like, don't do that. You're fucking Nazi. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I thought he was protesting us because that would be really funny.
Yeah.
But he wasn't kidding. He was very serious. And I actually, how I responded to that was I recorded a Vermin Supreme diss rap that I ended up not putting out. Based on that old song of I'm a Meme that he had I was trying to build it up into a thing, but he's like such a bitch now. Like he's got no sense of humor left. And of course the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts they kicked out anybody who went. So that's why I am officially not a member of the Libertarian Party in any way, shape, or form, not associated with them, because well, it just shows that they're not so fucking libertarian as they want you to think.
Yeah, no, that's just humorous. When I was part of the Young Americans for Liberty, you had all these libertarians who were like, we should have like a no shoes, no shirt mandate law or something like that. We should get rid of that. But then like when you actually like wanted to wear like a Trump hat or something, oh no, we can't be associated with.
Yeah, no, they put out an email like this, an official email. So this isn't just like, oh, we're being petty little bitches. They put out an official email to all members of the Massachusetts Libertarian Party Association, because they're not technically a party in this state because they don't get enough votes. And the email simply said, if you are participating in the hate speech event in Boston, that you will no longer be recognized as a member of the MLPA. And I just replied with a picture of a middle finger. Like, fuck you. Like, what the fuck? Who cares? You know? And you know who doesn't kick people out for going to activist events? Neither the Democrat or Republican Party do that.
Yeah.
So the Libertarian Party in this case, and I said this right to Daniel Fishman, who's now one of the top guys in the National Party. He's the one that did this. And I said it right to his face. And I was like, your party is less libertarian than the Democrats or Republicans. How do you feel about that? And he said, oh, I don't think that's the case. And I'm like, well, they wouldn't kick me out for going to a free speech event. You did.
Yeah. There's a reason libertarians don't get elected for fucking anything.
Yeah, I said that on Twitter to somebody just the other day. Like, the reason libertarians don't get elected is because they always have some hot fucking take of, well, actually, we should abolish the age of consent.
yeah, literally. I think I saw that tweet, and that might be what have influenced what I just said just now, because it's true. I mean, they're a joke. It's a bunch of small fish that want to be a big fish in a small pond. That's all.
Yeah.
And it's cliquish and it's bullshit. I know that like I guess the Mises caucus has taken more control over the National Party the last year, and it's a little bit better than it was, but it's still that same bullshit of these are people who either are outside of mainstream politics because of some belief they have. Oftentimes it used to be, legalized pot, but that's not outside mainstream. But now it'll be like legalized prostitution, or it'll be age of consent stuff, or it'll be legalized, meth or something like that. And so they can't be in the mainstream of politics, or it's people that fail in the mainstream of politics, like Bill Weld. And they know, oh, well, I could be, Gary Johnson's running mate, and I'll get way more attention than I ever did as a Republican. And so it's for failed politicians, and it's for like weird freak shows outside the mainstream. I thought for quite a time that I was number two, that I was a freak show outside the mainstream until Donald Trump, who has almost my identical politics, took over the GOP, and so now
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, no,
Well,
and
Go ahead,
it's
Sam.
that's what I was gonna say. It seems like a lot of the actual like libertarians that are serious, like us per se, went to Trumpism for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah,
and
the only
I'll say the ones that lean left, that are serious, like they actually care about civil liberties and shit.
Yeah.
They do tend to really like Tulsi Gabbard. So there are libertarian minded people out there that I don't think are garbage, but most people who identify as a libertarian are completely like outside of the norm of politics and
Yeah.
useless.
or they identify as libertarian and don't understand what libertarian means in 2022. Because I know a
Yeah.
lot of quote unquote libertarians that identify with Ron Paul, who
Right.
I would argue is the only libertarian worth their salt. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but the only one that I've ever known. He's got faults like everybody else, but
Well,
he's the one. He's the one that
there's a
sparked that
reason-
whole.
There's a reason he was a Republican too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because he knows that the Republican Party is still the better platform.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's kind of similar that Tulsi Gabbard would be a Democrat, and I don't think she's like libertarian per se, but she's anti-war and she's good on some civil liberty stuff. She's a gun grabber though, so she's not a libertarian at all. But I can see why she appeals to like libertarians who are more kind of left leaning on a lot of things.
Yeah. Well,
she's a big Modi fan too, I believe, right? Isn't
I
that
think
like
so,
a thing? Yeah.
Well, I mean, when she was on Rogan's, podcast, one of the things that she said is she left the Democrat Party because a lot of them, she didn't call them pedophiles directly, but she might as well have, because she said, the trans thing with them wanting to, do all these surgeries, like that's really disturbing. So
But look, all right, I'm going to be honest with you. As someone who's devoted their life, most of their adult life, to politics, to claim that they've denounced their party for something as specific as transgender surgeries for kids does seem a little suspicious to me. Just on the face of it.
To be fair, though, that it wasn't specifically just that. She had a list of grievances.
yeah, she had a list, but that was like
and the number one was actually the war in Ukraine. She's anti-war, so I think that the war stuff makes a lot more sense. And then also this, and then also that.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
You're right, though. If it was just the training surgery, if she said that's it, that's the whole reason I left, I would be real suspicious of that too.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you guys. The storm shock in the hair is probably my favorite part about Tulsi Gabbard. I don't really pay much. I'm not a politician. I don't pay much. I've said this many times on this show, of which I'm a co-host of which is a political show. I don't know shit about politics. Sammy doesn't brief me.
Juxtaposition, to be honest.
Sammy doesn't brief me on much of this shit. I just come in and just say stupid things and try to
I guess
be
the
funny.
sad part of that is that you know more than most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, but
I mean,
no,
I'm a troll by nature. Like, I care about politics to some degree, but this shit, like, being funny, like, no matter what happens from here, this Kanye shit is funny.
Yeah,
it's fucking funny.
I'm a class clown by nature. That's like the shit, or like whatever, the black pill shit. I just have a tendency to just be like, well, wait, no, that's not right. What if it's this way? Just to be, because that shit's funny. I don't know. It's maybe not funny to everybody. I just try to entertain myself. And maybe Sammy sometimes, because sometimes he'll hit his knee against his desk, and it's really funny.
Sometimes Apex will scare me, and I'll just
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
But no, I mean that is the other funny thing though is I'm the quote unquote political serious guy, and I love hanging out with internet trolls like you guys because it seems like oddly enough, even though you guys are more interested in internet stuff, you guys do understand politics to a certain extent better than even some of like the pseudo intellectual political people that I went to college with because they take politics like way too seriously. Like they eat, sleep, and literally drink, this
I
shit.
think
And
I think a
tell you
lot of
this.
it.
At the end of the day, I'm a politics guy in so much as I'm an economics guy, if that makes sense.
yeah,
And like I'm not an Austrian economics guy. I'm more of a traditional kind of I guess neo Keynesian. If for
I was gonna say
anybody
Keynesian.
for for the people, the one person who ever even fucking cares. But regardless, I'm an economics guy. I dig into the numbers and how economics works and understanding those principles. And I am of the belief that politics stems from that. And so that's kind of what I know about it. I'm also really into
Yeah.
philosophy. I don't really care so much about like the reason that people say they want to support DeSantis by and large, that they tell me is because, oh, well, Trump's mean. Well, I don't care about that, right? That doesn't matter to me. It would be like, what's the policy difference between the two? And if you really, really dig into it, there is not any difference between the two.
yeah, which is why I don't get Milo like shitting on DeSantis either. I mean, I do.
Milo is a contrarian as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. No,
yeah.
Milo is a. He's more than a contrarian. I mean, he's a contrarian to the degree. I mean, it's
He's a
his
shit
entire-
stirrer.
He's a shit stirrer. Yeah, for sure. Shit starter. Shit shitter.
No, he's not only a shit stirrer, he's the one that brings the shit in the first
Yeah, he
place.
shits it out of his ass a lot of
Yeah.
times,
He
right onto
creates
the
the
fucking, right onto the internet.
I mean, this whole thing is him taking a big shit on everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like Nick,
a Kanye shaped shit. God
yeah,
damn.
God damn it. Fuentes is on fucking cloud nine because he got to meet his idol. For whatever reason, this white nationalist is like obsessed with this black rapper from Chicago. It doesn't make any sense at all, but whatever. He's very happy. Milo's very happy because he got to take a shit on the entirety of America. Kanye is very unhappy, and it's manifesting in this this downward spiral of fucking self-destruction that he's on. And I'm happy because it was just a spectacle. And the beauty is Milo thinks this is going to ruin, Trump's election or whatever, and no one's going to remember that part of it. I'll tell you what they will remember though. They will remember Kanye yelling that he loves Hitler on Alex Jones. That's what's going to in 2 years, that's what people are going to remember from this.
In fucking
Well-
20 years. Are you kidding
well-
me, dude? That shit's never gonna die.
Yeah, well,
Well, we watched history today.
yeah, he made some of the liberal media people who hate Alex Jones feel bad for Alex Jones.
Which
That's
is
how-
that is incredible. That in and of itself
Yeah.
is incredible. And I find myself having to take a step back from it to go, okay, Kanye, I don't like his music. I don't like his fashion sense. I don't like his fucking shoes. But this dude has captured millions of people's attention with his art in various forms.
Right. There's some
Is-
charisma there.
Is he turning some sort of page here? Or is it just all mania? Is it all, I mean, clearly there's some mania there. Without question, the dude is unstable. But I'm not entirely sure that he's 100% off his. If he was, he would have showed up at the Alex Jones show without his fucking Donda full fat mask on.
I actually
right?
have a theory about that.
Go ahead.
I think that the Tim Pool thing was. because if you listen to what he said on Tim Pool, like if you watch the full clip right up until he walks out, he was manic, incoherent, and just rambling. And Tim barely even tried to stop him for the first 10 minutes because it was just like a million miles an hour. And then Tim pushed back on him a little bit and he left. It was clearly, to my eyes, a manic episode in real time. But that was a couple days ago. And he's seen the fallout from that now. And he has this whole Donda character thing. And I think he put the mask on because he feels more confident when he's in the Donda character. And he did, I believe, go like, I don't think this was a complete manic thing. I think you're right. He went in with intent to raise hell. And he did.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you think of it, he did. Is it going to benefit him in the long run? I don't think there's any way it could.
No, and the other thing I was thinking about is, or something that crossed my mind rather, is the pictures within the last. I feel like it's within the last 6, maybe 8 months that Nick has posted his Donda cosplay on some sort of campus where he's wearing his fucking jacket and the full face mask and shit. Long before he met Kanye. But if Kanye has somehow found himself with Nick fucking Fuentes in his immediate influence circle, one of his biggest fans, as a little white boy who's a hardcore right, anti-Jew, and all this other thing.
Troll,
for sure, but also grifter.
I think some of Kanye today did come from pointers he got from Nick. I'm certain of it.
I almost what I was getting at is
because it's the kind of inflammatory shit that Nick says.
I almost think, like, my impression upon my mentioning of the cosplay, it's almost, I feel like Nick was like, you got to go on Alex Jones's Donda, dude. You got to go in there and you got to go hard. Put on the fucking face mask. You know what I mean? And
look,
Nick,
Tim Pool made you look like, shit. You looked like a coward. You ran away. You got to be strong and go in hard, and we're gonna make a joke. And they probably fucking like wrote and rehearsed the whole Net and Yoo-hoo bit, right? Like
of course,
like
of
Nick
course
has a hand in this, and I'm not trying to take his agency out of it, but I still think it's the manipulation of a man who's in an absolute downward spiral of life with the divorce and the losing all his businesses and stuff.
Look, we
and
talked
it's
earlier.
Disgusting.
We talked, 100%. We talked earlier about the lack of support group within Kanye's immediate circle.
Yeah,
especially after losing Kim and all and everything everything that went along with that, and now all of his sponsors and his fucking deals with I mean, that is millions and millions and millions of dollars.
He bought a house right next door to hers so that he could be right next to his kids. And because the media called that really creepy, which I don't think it was, I think that makes a lot of sense. He didn't have a house in LA when she moved back there. And so he just bought the house next door because I can be right there and it's easier for everybody. That makes a lot of sense. But he gave it to her because the media bullied him about it. So this is a guy that's easily influenced by what people think of him.
Clearly. And if he has no immediate circle, if he has shunned all of the people around him, and he's got this new little super fan white boy that considers him fucking the actual second coming of Jesus or something.
And also one of the shadiest political actors in the last fucking 50 years in my
None of that matters. None of that matters, I think, to an ego like Kanye, especially in a fragile state that he has found himself in. Again, I don't think he's fully without agency. I just think he is a fragile artist, huge fucking ego that is desperate to find something to help him feel influential again. And Nick Fuentes, albeit all the bad things that he is, he has a name. It's a bad name, but it's connected to all the things that Kanye has been speaking out against since he got canceled, or just prior to and since he's been canceled. So if Nick, I mean, we're all just speculating here. We don't actually know how any of this shit went down. It seems pretty obvious in a lot of ways, you know. Milo seems to be the puppet master in some ways. Nick seems to be the puppet master in some ways, and Kanye just seems to be the talent at the front again. You know, being used
Well,
and
I think
abused
the thing about
for
Kanye,
a message.
I think the thing about Kanye is there's only so much puppet mastering you can do to somebody like him. Like there's some things that he's going to do on his own. I think one of them is, if you notice, he often tried to equate or he said, oh, well, you know, Nazis also did good things and Jews do good things and bad things and we should love everybody. That was actually his underlying message.
That is a good message.
That's not
a
a
fair
message,
at least.
That's not a message that Milo or Nick would have coaxed him on. I think that's what he feels inside, and I think that's how he interprets. But then they say, oh, boy, yeah, but you got to say, da da da. Like he's definitely kind of a free spirit that they can only tweak him so far.
Yeah,
if you
for
get what
sure.
I'm saying.
For sure.
Which is kind of funny that you bring that up though, Apex, because like I remember, I don't know if you and I had met yet, but like that was initially it's funny watching Kanye say a lot of this stuff because there are a lot of parallels, not necessarily verbatim, but there are a lot of parallels between stuff that like what Owen was saying about Jews like a few years ago.
Yep. And Kanye brought up Owen specifically in this Alex Jones interview.
Yeah, I didn't see
he
that.
said, I did not see that either, but I did see, he said, and I quote, I'm going to read a couple of Owen Benjamin jokes real quick. And it was I retweeted it. It was an Adrian Blair 80 tweet talking shit on Ben Shapiro. And he says, I'm going to quote a couple of Owen Benjamin jokes. And he says some Owen Benjamin jokes about Ben Shapiro. But apparently he said somewhere in this interview that Dave Chappelle stole the LBGTQ joke from Owen, which Owen said 3 years ago. And we all made fun of him for it. I tweeted or commented on an Adam Knows News, who I'm not a big fan of, but he posted an Owen clip where he's like, oh, I had an intimate private conversation with Kanye. And in this like 1.5 minute clip posted in this tweet, Owen's like, yeah, he did his Owen fucking thing where he's like, yeah, we had a talk, but there's no proof of it, and there's probably never going to be proof of it. So you guys just have to take my word for it. And he has done that fucking repeatedly over the years, you know? And now all of a sudden he's quoting Owen Benjamin jokes. Fucking Owen is wearing a goddamn Yee 24 trench coat, a denim trench coat. So clearly there's something.
Look, we're in the grips of the low-cow uprising, bro.
It's like, fucking. It's wild.
Happening.
It's wild.
The retards have risen up. Gamergate has fucking come again.
Gamergate 2.0. Sargon's prophecy is here, dude.
Yeah, the prophecy of Sargon has come true. So, breaking news. He unbanned Elon. That is unbanned Ye, and he tweeted something else that I missed. It happened very quickly. I'm not sure exactly what it was. And Elon Musk replied, "This is not." Somebody said, "Oh, fix his account," like basically unban him again. And Elon said, and I quote, "I tried my best. Despite that, he again violated our rule against incitement to violence. Account will be suspended." So
I think that's the tweet we showed earlier. I don't think he's tweeted again since then, because I've tried to keep an eye on it, but I think it was the swastika of David tweet. I mean, I don't know what else to call it.
I could argue that that's not incitement to violence, but
it's not.
I understand that Elon's in a tough spot here.
Same with the Alex Jones shit, man. You know, like the dude's running the town square, and that's why he bought it, because he
unbanned so many of my friends. Like,
so many.
It would be really hard for me to be like, oh yeah, but this one guy compared to what the treatment that we get everywhere else on the internet. That's, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess that's relativism, but
It's right.
whatever.
No, that it is, and that's where I have to kind of. I really do have to kind of try and weigh it because I'm not the biggest Elon Musk fanboy or by any means, but like I mentioned maybe earlier or maybe meant to, I do think he's a visionary. He's definitely very smart and very driven. I don't know if he's a psyop or if he's some sort of savior. He could be either or, but
maybe
this
maybe
point.
neither.
Maybe neither. Yeah, he may just be.
Well, the people he hangs out with and influence him, if you're not really familiar, it's a lot of like the kind of the new tech in Texas, and so like people like Joe Rogan. I actually think to some degree it kind of pains Elon not to unban Alex Jones because he does know him.
Yeah.
That's why I think his stated reason makes sense, but I do think it's more to do with the business end of things.
Yeah,
Because Jones is the poison pill for him.
Which I mean, it makes sense, man, and it's painful to admit, but like if you have the ability to look at the shit objectively, you have to look at that. You have to at least understand that to some degree.
Like he's friends with Lex Friedman, he's friends with like Curtis Yarvin, and some of these like kind of politically, I guess, like right libertarian-ish people. So I don't know, like new right people, I guess you should say. So I don't think he's a psyop, so to speak, but I also don't think he's what some people want him to be. Some people who lean more towards free speech extremism, which I actually do, but I would say show me the platform that doesn't ban anybody that is an alternative to it, and right now that doesn't exist.
No, nowhere.
Yes,
Gab will ban you, fucking Post and all that will ban
Rumble
you.
will ban you, Odyssey will ban you, every single platform will fucking ban you if you say the wrong thing. You don't even have to incite violence, you just have to post and say the wrong thing, and even Odyssey will ban you.
Yeah, even Truth Social will.
So when you're operating in that paradigm, I actually do think Elon's so far done what I would consider a really good but not perfect job.
I do
too.
Yeah. Look, the first time I saw a fact check on a Joe Biden tweet, when he was like, "Oh, Social Security's fucking blah 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 blah," and it was like, "Well, actually, Social Security's like 20% more expensive than it was 3 years ago." So the difference is negligible, if not detrimental.
I just to be honest, one of the things that like really cracks me up is the fact that like Elon is, posting memes, which he's always done. But all these, NPCs are like, you can't tweet memes. You're supposed to be a serious CEO. Oh my God. How are you?
Okay, so there were 2 tweets after the swastika of David.
Oh, okay.
One of which is still up, and it is a picture of Obama and Elon Musk on a boat, I believe at Martha's Vineyard a few years ago, I think. Shirtless, and he's kind of fat and whatever.
With his little animatronic guy inside of his chest cavity. Like Men in Black.
Yeah, it's it's an unflattering picture of Elon, and it says, "Let's always remember this is my final tweet." And Elon's reply to that is, "That is fine." And then there was the other one that I didn't see, and the reply Elon gave to that is, "This is not, and the account's going to be suspended." Further, to that is fine. Kim.com, who you guys
quite familiar with. Yep.
Kim.com says
Mega Upload.
Mega Upload. And he's a free speech absolutist himself. And he said, "No, it's not. You stood up for Kanye, and this is how he thanks you. It's ungrateful and disappointing." And to Elon's credit, he said, "Just clarifying that his account is being suspended for an incitement to violence." Again, I'm not sure what that was. Not an unflattering pic of me being hosed. Frankly, I found those pictures to be helpful motivation to lose weight. So.
Well, yeah, and again, that's one of the things I really appreciate about the way Elon's handling this. As much I would rather he were building rockets and more effective, more efficient electric cars and shit. But I mean, if this is what he deems the most important thing, he's putting his energy into it, man. And he is. I've seen DMs. I don't know if they're real or not, but of people trying to reset their passwords. And shit like that, and getting direct messages from Elon. I'm sure that can't be true, but either way, he's responding to a lot on the website. I can see it in my own timeline.
Yeah.
Besides the speculation or people being like,
I don't think
posting
it's going to
screenshots.
be like that for a particularly long time either. I think he's doing what any good businessman would do, and he's learning the thing from top to bottom, and he's trying to win back customer trust. And
He's
once
balls
it's in a
deep.
good state, in a good state, he's going to hand it off to people that he trusts.
He's balls deep from the moment he spent this 44 billion. He was balls deep before that, but he's been even further. And the amount of people I see him responding to is pretty impressive. I don't know what the fuck else he does. I mean, certainly a lot of other things, but goddamn, he seems to spend a lot of time responding to people on Twitter.
He's cutting. He's firing employees and cutting out, lunches and other which is the other thing, because people are saying, well, I'm not sure if Elon's a godsend or if he's, or if
Look,
it's
man.
just a psyop. And
Look, man. I would say 99% of people that go to work in this country are not provided hot towels and a fucking breakfast and a lunch and a dinner paid for, an IPAs that you can drink on the clock, and all that other bullshit that these tech companies get. That is bullshit. And I agree 100% with Elon's take there. You are at work to work. That is a job. Now, if you spend 15, 16 hours a day there, maybe. But none of those people do that. They may be now. And they may deserve a beer. But I just mean these, if you can fire 5,000 employees or however many thousand employees that he fired, and the site can run better,
I now know what it was kind of an incitement to violence.
Uh-oh.
The tweet, because I can see it mirrored, and it's from official Yay. It says, "Let's break one last window before we get out of here. I caught this guy with Kim. Good night." And it's a picture of a black man named Paul. I don't know who it is. I guess he's a NBA basketball player.
Oh no.
And so
yeah, that sounds like incitement of violence.
That's an incitement to violence, or that's a vague post of incitement to violence, at least, right? It's
look,
I caught this guy with Kim. Let
me post this to my 5 million followers in this ambiguous tweet, and look, if not promoting violence, it's insinuating.
It's pushing the line of the guy who just went to bat for you.
Yeah.
I can't blame Elon at all.
Paul George is the name that evil. By the way, as soon as you said that Elon is balls deep, Apex, guess who showed up in chat?
Evil Eric.
How'd you know? Jeez, how'd you know that?
Well, because look, balls deep, Eric, they go hand in hand. I know, Eric.
Yeah,
we're good friends.
But yeah, no. So what I was gonna say is I've been reading the Steve Jobs biography the last 2 weeks, and I've noticed that there are parallels between Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, most notably that they are both creative. They are both somewhat design geniuses, and they both had an knack for firing people that pissed them off a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of the time. So when people are like freaking out, oh my god, Elon's firing people all the time. It's like, well, you guys wouldn't have lasted at Apple in the 80s at all.
Well, and not only that, but you wouldn't last in, again, 95+% of any other job you could possibly get in this country.
No,
Like,
not
I mean,
at all.
literally, if you came to work and no, I can't even imagine.
I've never been to a job where you were allowed to drink on the job.
That's what I'm saying.
I
If you,
like
I
that's
have-
insane. When I heard that about Blizzard, specifically the big leaks they had last year, I felt like some of the allegations against Blizzard for sexual misconduct seemed a bit on the nose for the type of Me Too stuff that's going on. But the one thing was it was pretty much universally, oh yeah, we have these big drinking parties, and then everybody crawls under each other's desks, and I'm like, yeah, that's not like
yeah,
even
No
if
wonder.
I don't think you're going around raping all the women at your job, and I like that's kind of a political hit job thing. If you guys are having drinking parties at your work and doing this, you need to get your fucking shit together. That's not professional.
no.
That's not what you do at work.
I
Because
have
all it takes is one Karen to not like that fucking game, and you're out $10 million in a sexual harassment lawsuit.
That's right. I mean, look,
And she'd be in the right.
right, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
as a retail manager in various fields of retail over the last few years, I have fired no less than 3 people because I work in small towns and I know the bartenders. And when my employees take their lunch break and they go to the bar in their uniform and take a couple of shots and get some food, the bartender who knows me is going to say, "Hey, you're
Send you a little message, maybe
Yeah.
give you a little call."
your tire shop mechanic who's responsible for driving the company truck down highways and fixing tires on trucks just took 4 shots in the last 15 minutes. I've got to go and be like, hey, you're fired.
No. You want to actually take personal responsibility for people acting so irresponsibly as to, I don't know, drive under the influence on the fucking job, right? This is a thing too, is like people who engage in these kind of fucking unprofessional behaviors always think you as the boss are the bad guy.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no, I mean, look, the at least one of those people would they would fight me in public. I've had to physically subdue them at least once at a bar, the same bar that they went to get drunk at work. I've ran into them off the clock years later, and they want to fight me because I fired them because they went and got drunk. Well, because I can drink 15 shots, motherfucker. You have no idea how drunk I can get before I'm actually drunk. Fuck you, dude. This is my job. I'm responsible for you. You drive the company. There's all that shit that goes into it.
Yeah.
Seemingly none of that matters when you're developing a video game or responsible for the digital town square or running Facebook or any of that shit. You can go and jerk each other off and drink martinis and fucking have breakfast on the house and lunch on the house and live in a fucking...
let's be real. Like, it doesn't get mentioned in a lot of these cases, but most of these big tech companies, they're probably all smoking pot on the job too, because it's legal.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, and
Look, most of them are microdosing fucking psychedelics, like
Yeah.
openly.
It's fucking
know?
it's Silicon Valley. Yeah, they're all doing that. They probably
Well,
got the vape THC cards.
Or DMT. They're fucking hitting DMT, in a vape
DMT,
cart.
Well,
Yo,
and
man, Joe Rogan said this fucking... Whoa.
Well, and I love how their whole excuse for all of this, whether it be the free lunches or whatnot or whatever. At least this is what a few Google employees told me, or ex-Google employees now. I guess the whole justification was, well, our job coding is so high stress that like we need these complementary things in order to boost productivity.
You know what? We should start letting sergeants, corporals, and generals on the fucking battlefield get drunk because
right,
I mean, how much high
right.
those guys are? That's a
It's
cakewalk,
just-
right?
Yeah.
It's just such a different mentality from this. This is the problem. Is the non-working class cannot possibly understand the working class mentality, and that's part of the divide, I think, in a lot of the politics in this country.
I think it's a big part of it. Yeah.
a lot of like, particularly the working class, but then the middle class to some degree as well, versus like the upper middle class, which is what these tech people are, and the divide is night and day. They can't understand why what you're saying, where you have an employee who goes to the bar, they would all agree with you firing him, I bet you. Right?
Yeah.
They'd be like, yeah, that's really irresponsible. But then they think that they're different. It's different what we're doing. Like you do that, hard labor shit, and you need to have all your faculties because I need my breaks done properly, right? Peasant. There really is that built in. The one thing I found more than anything in dealing with the political discourse in this country in the last 5 years or so is a disdain for the working class from a lot of people on all sides, not just the left.
Yeah, and that's also and to give credit where credit is due, this is one of the areas where I originally actually liked Milo, because Milo back in the day rightly so pointed out that the reason why Trump was so popular was because he was relatable to the working class. You had all these established Republicans,
and not just the white working class. This is why he got more votes among Hispanics and blacks than previous Republican candidates, because he was getting votes from the Hispanic and black working class.
Right.
And it might not have been a majority of those demographics, but those were votes that previous Republicans couldn't get because Mitt Romney hated the fucking working class. He was like a billionaire, right? John McCain wasn't a working class. Like, we haven't had anybody except Ron Paul was kind of pro working class, but anybody else on the Republican side of things, Reagan is probably the last good on working class. Bob Dole paid it like lip service, but no, the attack on the working class by both the left and the right, the last couple of decades, I think has caused more of this divide than anything else. And in particular among like college educated, younger people, like the people 20 or 18 to like 30 now, have internalized that hatred for the working class, even if they are working class. This is where you get guys that'll be like, well, I'm a wagey and work sucks and all that. And they're really susceptible to the kind of radical communist stuff because they've internalized the disdain for the working class.
Yeah. Well, and now it's even like, now I don't know if, at least this is what I've noticed. Like, I went to the University of South Florida, which isn't like, it's a pretty good school, but it's not like a name brand school. Like, I get disdain from like all these libs who are like, oh, well, you only went to this school. I went to such and such, and I have a degree in, in this, and then it turns out they have like a useless degree in underwater basket weaving, whereas like I have a communications degree.
I have a high school diploma, so they all consider themselves above me, even if it's feminist dance theory.
Yeah, which I don't. I'm like,
and not just above me in terms of like I have the dance theory degree. I really, really know about dance theory. No, they think it makes them better than me as a human being, as worth. They really do value these pieces of paper way over what they're meant for, because the idea of higher education to begin with was to specialize into something, because you're making a career out of it.
Yeah.
Now it's just do it for the sake of doing it, which is how we treat all the other public education. I do want to give Evil Eric in the chat. Yes, Ross Perot was a G. Ross Perot is one of my all-time most influential people. So yeah, you won me over there.
Yeah, Ross Perot was a G. Yeah, you're right though. It's this disdain. And
what does FAFO mean?
Fuck around, find out.
Elon just tweeted that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kanye fucked around. So.
Oh fuck, dude, that is funny.
This time,
Icarus flew pretty close to the sun today. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
Okay,
cut you guys off.
I got a
No,
great
I-
way. I got a great
Yeah.
way we could lean towards wrapping this up, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I gotta go.
What's next?
well,
Let's try and predict some shit. Let's see what we could do. Try and predict Clown World. It's a fun game.
Well, I specifically think that the shit with Kanye is probably going to fizzle out until he becomes an absolute obscurity. I think every single platform is going to leverage their power to shut him the fuck up. Not necessarily because he's saying anything truthful, but because he's fucking insane and he won't stop saying the things he's saying. And he's going to continue to fuck around and find out. Now, what that means for like the people that care about him and his 2024 campaign, I think those died today, quite frankly.
I
yeah.
agree there. I mostly feel bad for his children more than anything.
That's what I was
Yeah.
just about to say. I actually kind of feel bad for Kim too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's one other thing I was going to point out.
She
is-
caused a lot of this though.
Yes,
Well,
she did.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Like he's
I don't
a
know the
grown man.
truth.
He's responsible for his own shit. But no, like she's not denying. Like, yeah, she cheated on him with this Pete Davidson guy in their bed. Now I don't know the truth about the last one, the one he got suspended for, the Paul whatever.
It looked like
but-
a fucking yearbook picture, by the way. I just saw
It did.
T-Clips posted it. Like a fucking close-up. Anyway.
But
Yeah, no.
yeah, she was cheating on him in his own bed in his own house. That can fuck a man up,
It sure
especially
can.
one who's already got problems and doesn't have a good support system.
And one that already has basically everything else. That's the real, I think that's the real problem, because most
Yeah.
men, that will fuck any man up. But I think a lot of us, after a certain amount of time of wallowing and maybe drinking or fucking being indulgent in some sort of vice for X amount of time, will either die an early death or come out of it stronger in some way, shape, or form. I don't know that that's in Kanye's future. I hope so, for his sake and for his kids' sake, especially, because this whole public persona shit needs to die. He needs to go. And I mean, I'm not predicting anything here, but I sincerely hope that he gets the fuck out and away from all of this shit and figures it out.
I have a
Privately.
completely different prediction. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So you said he's going to get banned everywhere, but you're kind of forgetting one little thing. So I think Kanye's next move is he's going to start a channel on cozy.tv. And I think he's going to go on the kill stream with Ethan Ralph. And I think that he's going to try and move into this grifter group because that's what they're going to encourage him to do anyway. And the whole rest of the world is now rejecting him. So now he's left with the only people accepting him and not only that, wanting him. And of course, he's got that bit of celebrity narcissism that they all kind of have. And
probably the most extreme form we've ever seen. But yeah, go ahead.
So we're going to get Kanye on Cozy, and it's going to be hilarious, but not great for him or his career. Or probably Cozy because it's already bringing attention to their site. I'm not saying America First is engaged in tax fraud, but if I was a forensic
If they were.
accountant- well, look, I've looked into. He lied about several things regarding their tax exempt status in their 501c3, and it's very easily verifiable right on the IRS website. Also, it's a shell company. They're purposely dodging the DMCA. There's a lot of problems with Cozy, and if Kanye starts streaming there, one thing. So my big prediction is Kanye goes to Cozy For a while, it creates a whole bunch of Wild West style fucking content. Maybe he even gets in with the fucking IP2 streamers. Maybe you get Kanye West in an RV with Andy Dick when he gets out of jail. All kinds of crazy shit that you could never even fucking predict. Although if that one happens, I hope somebody clips this out.
Yeah, clip this shit. Yeah.
Max fucking predicted it. But long term, what happens then is that Warner, Universal, the Sony, big music groups are gonna fucking take notice because everybody is out to Alex Jones Kanye.
Yeah.
And they're gonna sue the owner and proprietor of Cozy.tv, who, as far as I'm aware, is Nicholas J. Fuentes. And I think that this ends not well for any of them. They'll get their attention, they'll have their circus, but they will pay.
Yeah, well,
I have to agree. I think you added a couple more steps, but I actually agree wholeheartedly with that. I missed the joining Cozy part, but yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, the joining Cozy thing makes sense. And this could be wild, right? This might not happen at all, but if you roll a wild prediction, this could be Alex Jones's way back into the mainstream.
Oh my god. That would be the best part, right?
Because okay, think about it this way, like the left used to hate George Bush, right? Back in the day, like they used to vilify George Bush as a Nazi, and then once Trump came in, Bush was like, Bush is okay. And then,
not only that, he's a hero because he talks shit on Trump.
And now he's back, and now he's like doing, talk shows with like Jimmy Fallon and whatnot, right? So imagine that, people today were like, oh my God, Alex Jones was actually the sane one today. Oh, he's not too bad after all.
I mean, it seems pretty clear to me that, Alex has got his own handlers.
Well, yeah.
So
he's also got his own things working against him.
Yeah.
In terms of like some of the things he said and done over the years, like there's going to be a large contingent of people he never wins over. But
is he not the most?
Wrong.
Is he not the most sued person financially, like in the history of this country?
The $1.5 billion is the largest settlement ever awarded against one human being in America.
Yeah, that is fucking insane. That's insane.
Although I will push back one thing. A lot of people make the claims about the most banned person, right? People will say it's, I guess now Kanye. They'll say a lot of people say it's Alex Jones. Nick Fuentes will say that it's him. I would make the case that until the other day when he somehow, I have no fucking idea how, got unbanned, Andrew Anglin was the most banned person in the world.
Yeah.
The most censored person in the world. And look, this is not an endorsement of Andrew Anglin. I'm just saying.
You're right though.
That dude couldn't even get his website, right? Like he couldn't, nothing, right? They closed down everything. And he got unbanned on Twitter. And when I saw that, I was like, there's really no justification to not unban Alex Jones. Also on Twitter, unbanned in recent times is Alex McNabb from the rightstuff.biz, which is an overtly neo-Nazi, like alt-right website. Like several like neo-Nazis got unbanned, but Alex Jones is a step too far. I don't know how long he can juggle those plates, or maybe just nobody cares, and maybe I'm looking too deep into it.
Well, yeah, he said he literally said publicly that he will not unban Alex Jones for his personal grievance against his take on Parkland. But I do, like we also talked about, I do think it's more complicated than that and more business related.
Right, but what I'm saying is like, okay, he said that about the fucking shooting or whatever. These people advocate for the genocide of Jews in America, and he unbanned them.
Well, the thing it is I guess Alex Jones, like him or not, is the most well-known banned person. So that's That's
And
why.
yeah, I mean his public declaration.
I don't know.
of-
Kanye might be now.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying is right. I remember during the Obama administration, the saying was, well, Jimmy Carter can sleep well at night knowing that he's no longer the worst president in U.S. history, right? Kind of the same thing applies here. Well, Alex Jones can sleep well tonight knowing that he's no longer the most hated band, man in America, I guess. So,
Amen,
pretty
brother.
interesting.
And maybe I'm just so particular and autistic to know that these neo-Nazi guys are unbanned, but it just to me is staggering that Andrew Anglin gets unbanned, but not Alex Jones. Of course, I'm not going to get a response from Elon Musk if I ask him why that is, right?
Yeah.
Evil,
You'd be surprised, I guess. You might be anyway.
Evil Eric wants to know, when does Kanye move to Tardia?
Well, only time will tell. Probably after Cocaine Bear hits, $50 million at the box office.
Eric Nimmer Part 2.
Well, I hate to do this to you, Sammy, but
I think we're done.
yeah,
So,
I need to go to fuck to sleep. And Max, thank you so much for joining, man. I'm actually a big fan of your autism, despite what you might think from this conversation this evening. But I would genuinely like to do this again. Thank you for coming on, man. I do appreciate it. And Sammy, as always, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're
welcome.
welcome.
Go ahead and send us out, man.
Thank you, folks, for tuning in to the show, especially on Odyssey. I like doing these exclusive streams. So the YouTube channel is back on Saturday, so we'll be there again too. But in the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe on Odyssey if you haven't already, and I'll see you Saturday night. Later, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Whitfield Report on the NGC Network. Please visit Sam's website at www.thesamwhitfield.com and support Sam on Patreon at patreon.com/Whitfield Report. Until next time, God bless, God save this great nation, and God, freedom, legacy, in that order.